Yo, 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 yo. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy RJ. And today, we got episode 4 of We Game Podcast. The podcast that brings you gaming news and gaming content, gaming talk, every Saturday, starting between 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So today we got a few topics to get into. We got a few topics. A major event just happened as well, so we will be speaking on that. That will be at the end of the episode. Just quick spoiler for that. It was a last second decision. The reason why I started late is because I was keeping up with the news. Literally just happened, like literally breaking news. Yeah, Trump got shot, so don't look like it's nothing too serious, but we'll get into that. This is a gaming podcast, so let's take care of the gaming topics first. Hold on, let me go ahead and mute the stream on the other end. All right, so first topic of the day. For all PlayStation ponies, stand up, because you guys got to experience a new live service first-person shooter. Not only is it a new live service first-person shooter, the game is almost a 1-to-1 to Destiny 2 as far as gameplay goes. But this game had an early access beta this weekend. From what I'm hearing, it's free to all PlayStation Plus subscribers for early access. I put $5 down at GameStop to get the codes. I'm gonna go get my $5 back though after the stream or tomorrow or something. But nevertheless, if you want, I got an extra code. So if you want a code, go ahead and let me know. You could put it in the chat. Put your IG in the chat or something in the chat, or go to my Discord. Link is in the server. However you want to do it, reach out to me and hit me up on Twitter or whatever. That's in the description as well. Reach out to me, and the first person to reach out to me via whatever platform they want to do that on will get the code. And I think it's going on until tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And then next weekend, it will be an open beta for whoever. Anybody on PC can play. Anybody on PlayStation can play. This weekend is only for people who pre-ordered the game. So I got a code. If you guys want it, hit me up, DM me or whatever, and I'll go ahead and get that right on to you. But yeah, so we're going to speak about Concord. We're going to go ahead and speak about Concord. I got a chance to play it. Right now, Concord has social media, specifically Twitter, in a roar right now. And it's crazy to me that we've seen this gameplay before. Exactly what you see on the screen, we've seen it before. We got a chance to see it. I believe it was at the State of Play, if I'm not mistaken. But we got a chance to see this gameplay. This is when I seen the trailer for this game, I did not expect anything but what we got. The funny part to me is that I actually enjoyed the game. Like, I genuinely enjoyed the game. Matter of fact, after I get off the podcast today, I'm going to go get me another couple matches in. You feel me? Like, the game is actually fun. I'm not even in to the whole hero shooter genre, but I do love first-person shooters. And that's where the game gets me at. That's exactly where the game gets me at. I love first-person shooters. I play Call of Duty to this day. I'm a PC player as well. You feel me? I have many first-person shooting games that I play. They're not even, top of the tier level popularity. I played Escape from Tarkov, DayZ. So this game, as far as the way it feels good, and that's what matters to me. All the other extras, as far as the hero, learning about the heroes, how to use the heroes, learning the map strategy, how to run the maps, all that stuff comes secondary to me. I don't even care about none of that if that gameplay don't feel good. If that gameplay don't feel good, we not even gonna get into the heroes. We not even gonna get into the map design. But the gameplay feels good. You know, I was never a huge Destiny player. But you know, I always enjoyed the way Destiny felt. I always did. My issue with Destiny is I'm not about to continue to keep buying your game 7 times. I'm not going to do it. And I already have the game downloaded. I'm not going to continue to repurchase your game over and over again. That's my issue. That's my issue with Destiny. But I've always enjoyed the gameplay of Destiny. I've always enjoyed it. And this game gives me that feeling. One of the things I seen people complaining about on Twitter was TTK. Guys are on Twitter complaining about TTK when this TTK is shorter than Overwatch 2, which is the number one comparison for this game. This game is trying to tap into the Overwatch 2 market, and it's shorter than that. That's my issue with Overwatch. I hated how long it took to kill people in that game. By the time I get a kill, the dopamine is gone. Ain't no dopamine left. They didn't depleted me. It didn't feel good. And it's longer than Call of Duty, which I also enjoyed at TTK as well. But for it being a hero shooter, for there being different abilities, it to me is at the sweet spot, right? And this is another thing this is another reason why I enjoy this game. Maybe it's the beta, maybe it's because of balancing, but the guy that you see on the screen right now, this hero that's being played right now is a healing hero. He's trash. That's the fat guy that everybody was laughing about when they seen his bundle on the store. Dude got diabetes. He a type 2 diabetic. That's his player. That's this guy. But there's another guy who almost plays like a basic Call of Duty style gameplay. Doesn't really have too many abilities except these overpowered grenades. Outside of that, he doesn't, float. He can't fly. He don't got a recharge machine or nothing crazy. Just a very simplistic gameplay, and that's my favorite player. And in my opinion, he's the best player. His gun is good, right? He's got a good gun. I think his name is Tio. His gun is good. He's got good damage and DPS output. And then them grenades. When I tell you, I be getting triple kills with them 3 grenades they give you, right? And so I say all that to say that this game is very enjoyable. Like, I don't understand people. This is the issue with a lot of gamers today. We're too bougie. We are too fucking bougie as gamers. If this game came out back in the day, people would have been playing the hell out of this game. People would have been enjoying this game to the fullest, right? Because it don't take a lot to get into it. You don't have to go watch a guide. You don't have to, be a pro. You don't have to, the bar to entry for this game is low outside of the $40 paywall, but we're going to get into that. But the bar to entry is very low. But at the same time, the game possibly could have a very high skill ceiling. Because if you get accustomed to a certain play style with a certain hero and you do that very well and you're playing with people that are also doing that very well, then, y'all are going to go on pub stomping tears. Now, when I was playing, they don't have any data on us, right? They can't. I forget who made the game. I forget who made this game. But they don't have any data on us. But and maybe that might be the reason why I'm about to say this. But it did not feel like there was any skill-based matchmaking. And it's maybe because they have 0 data on us. Maybe because it's a beta. But the matchmaking, when I tell you it felt so good, on the people that I was getting matched up with, people of all different skill sets, all different skill levels. Regardless if I did good on my team, we still mess around and win. Or if most games I did good, because I'm like that for real, and I got the screenshots to prove it. Yeah, I do. But yeah, the matchmaking felt so good. The way that they were pairing me with a range of people. I'm not getting matched up against sweats every single lobby. And if the game continues to play like that, I might have to go ahead and put that $35 down on the pre-order and just go ahead and bite the bullet and grab it. If it continues now, I'm going to get my 5 back. I will admit, I'm going to get my 5 back because I'm not a huge hero shooter guy. But at the same time, with that being said, I can see how this game possibly could develop a community. I could see it. I see the vision. The game plays very well. It plays very, very well. I mainly focused and played on the kill confirm style game mode. I think it was like kill confirm. It was either like team deathmatch or kill confirm, one of the two. But nevertheless, that's what I mean. That's the game mode I mainly played. In the beta, they also have I want to say like a search and destroy. It's another objective, no respawn, one life round based game mode. I don't do the one life round based game modes. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's only one game that will get me into that box, and that's Escape from Tarkov, the arena shooter. Outside of that, I do not have no interest in Call of Duty and Concord and Battlefield. I don't care what game it is. I have no desire. Hey, what's good with you, H2O? I have no desire to play no one life game modes. It just is what it is. It is what it is. But nevertheless, you know, I mainly played the TDM base game, and I ain't gonna lie, man. I had a ball. I played for like 3 hours straight. Till I had to get off and go do something else. But I had a ball. I genuinely enjoyed the game. I didn't play with a full stack squad of teammates and friends. I played solo queue, and I was dropping heads left and right. Bodies was dropping, heads was rolling. Yeah. Bodies was dropping, heads was rolling. But yeah, I genuinely enjoyed it. There, you know, outside of the frustration of getting played out of a kill, or maybe you get double teamed, you know, team ain't around. Outside of little stuff like that you're going to get with any first person shooter game, arena based game, you know, I genuinely enjoyed myself. When I got off after those 3 hours, I was like, okay, I see it. I understand. And then I decided to jump on Twitter. To see if I'm the only one that's enjoying. Like, I just knew, though, everybody else was enjoying the game like me, because I couldn't see what there was to hate on. I mean, they told us it's a hero shooter. If I look at all the other hero shooters on the market, I had an idea what to expect. But these guys on Twitter, man, are talking about how this game is, you know, the TTK is too high, or the heroes are very generic, and, you know, just these weird excuses, or not even excuses, but these weird explanations on why they don't like the game. But I'm like, what did y'all expect? Like, this is a hero shooter. There's only so many heroes that you can draw up on the drawing board before it starts to feel a little repetitive when you go from game to game to game. You got Rainbow Six Siege, right, which is more of like a hardcore hero shooter. You got Overwatch 2, right? You got it's another couple hero shooter games that I can't think of off the top of my head. But at this point, you got X Defiant, right? At this point, how many more heroes can you come up with, man? Eventually, we got to start looking at these games from are they fulfilling the vision that they decided to make, right? Are they fulfilling that vision with the delivery of the game, right? And then if that answer is yes, is the game buggy? Does the game run terribly? Is the game broken, right? Is the game enjoyable? But that's one sentiment that I've heard. This is what I'm starting to think, though. People want to enjoy the game, but these PlayStation ponies, they are still upset, and they're dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. Why would I say that? That's a great question. The reason why I say these ponies are still upset and they're dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder is because they're mad about Factions 2. until these PlayStation, y'all need to do yourselves a favor. Y'all really do. Whatever Naughty Dog is working on, scrap that shit right now. Scrap that shit. Because you got your fans out here in distress right now. Yeah, y'all got y'all fans out here in distress. They're not going to be satisfied with any shooter until you give them Factions 2, and then maybe they'll be open. It's almost like dealing with an ex that you still think about on a day-to-day basis, but she got a boyfriend now, and she done told you 1,000 times it's over, but you can't admit to yourself that she not coming back, right? So it don't matter how beautiful the woman is. It don't matter if the next woman is cooking for you, cleaning for you, washing your feet, giving you feet massages. It don't matter. She will never be good enough because your heart is still with the ex. And that's what these PlayStation fans got going on, man. These guys, when you hear them talk about anything PlayStation, Sony, shooter related, Factions always comes up in the conversation, right? You got guys that are still playing Factions 1 on 30 frames per second. I think it's 30 frames. It might be 60. I might give them that. It might be 60, right? But they still playing Factions 1 20 years later. And there's nothing wrong. It's a good game. Don't get me wrong. But that just goes to show that they don't want to move on. They don't want to move on. They don't want to let hope die. They don't want to let it go. And I think that's what Concord is a victim of right now. I think it's a victim of PlayStation fans being stuck on stupid with Factions 2. And it's unfortunate for the developers because I think they put together a good game. Do I think it's going to be the next amazing shooter that's going to have me personally putting 1,000+ hours into the game? Hell no, it's not. But it's a game if I want to turn my brain off, if I want to get some, PvP, you know what I mean? If I want to get into that a little bit, it's just another title to add to the stack of titles, right? And it's nothing wrong with being that type of game. And for people who are into hero shooters, right, they might dive a little deep. I could see this game like even having some type of, if they get balancing correct, that's all they need to really do is get balancing correct, have a decent ranked mode. I can even see this game having some type of esports environment, right? I can, especially if it can pull the Twitch viewers. From what I seen, it don't look like it's pulling no Twitch viewers, so that's a little unfortunate. But yeah, I could see this possibly having an esports style, especially if Microsoft can't get Overwatch 2 together and Blizzard can't get Overwatch 2 together. They might have to play this, and this might be the only option that they have. Unfortunately for PlayStation, they dropped the ball again, and they dropped the ball on a couple things. The first thing that they dropped the ball with this game is obviously based on what we seeing on the internet. Now, Twitter is not a real place. We all know that. But content creators in today's time do have an effect on the success of your game. It is what it is. When someone has influence over a large amount of people, sometimes they can move the needle. And right now, it looks like the overarching story when it is revolving around Concord is that people are not necessarily satisfied. People are not necessarily turned on by the game. People are not really talking crazy about the game either, but at the same time, nobody's giving it the attention that you would think a PlayStation, exclusive multiplayer first-person shooter would get. It's not getting that attention right now. I think I've seen a couple videos on my timeline, and that's about it. And so they dropped the ball. PlayStation dropped the ball when they made this an exclusive. You need this on Xbox. You need this on Xbox, and you need this to be free to play. That's two issues right there. This game is not good enough to be charging people $40 to even play the game. Not only that, now I don't know how the store will end up being in the final release on the final product, but if I can't earn every single skin in the game without spending any real money, not only did you charge me $40 to play this damn game, but then you expect me to go buy a sweater and a t-shirt on a store. A digital sweater and a t-shirt on the store. And that's where PlayStation fucking up. With Helldivers 2, I don't know who came up with that concept of live service with the way that they built Helldivers 2. But PlayStation, and honestly every live service game, but specifically PlayStation, if y'all are going to make it exclusive, y'all need to do that live service just like that. What do I mean by that? Y'all need to be able to, I need to be able to earn everything in the store without spending $1, right? And you know what? Now that I think about it, Concord might be taking things from Helldivers 2. Now that I really think about it, when I think about what I've seen so far. The reason why I say that is because they're trying to draw a narrative, you know, focus on a multiplayer only game, which if you're going to charge $40, I think that's an issue, that there's no campaign at least. There's no story missions at least. Because the thing with Helldivers 2 tapped into something that everybody could relate to. It tapped into patriotism, right? Being proud of your country, right? Being proud of your people and fighting for your people. That's what Helldivers 2 tapped into. So whenever it started to blow up and bubble up and people realized what the narrative around this game was about, everybody could relate to it. And not only that, it was satire. So that means that there was a level of comedy associated to it. So it didn't take itself too seriously. Looking at this game, it reminds me of the story or the narrative that they're trying to float around the game. It reminds me of a knockoff Guardians of the Galaxy. When I tell you, right when you launch the beta up, you get about 5 to 10 minutes worth of cutscenes, right? I tell you, I skipped that shit so fast. I sat there and listened to it for like 1 minute. I gave it an opportunity. But let me see what they talking about. These motherfuckers wasn't talking about nothing. These motherfuckers wasn't talking about a motherfucking thing. I didn't give 2 fucks. When I tell you, I pressed that skip button so damn fast. And I was mad too, and I'm going to tell you why I was mad. Because it was one of them skip buttons where you got to hold the circle. So they forced me to listen to an extra 3 seconds of bullshit ass narrative. I was mad as fuck about that 3 seconds. I wanted to skip right then and there. And when they made me hold that motherfucker, I was salty. I'm like, damn, I can't just turn this shit off. I gotta hold the motherfucker and keep listening. Right? And so they're trying to do it. So I guess they're trying to do what Helldivers 2 does. And I hope for their sake that no matter, this is another thing Helldivers 2 does, and they need to take into account these things. Helldivers 2, whenever they drop seasons, and they drop, you know, your season passes or whatever, I forget what it's called in the game. But when they drop those, you can even if you don't play that whole season, you can always go back. Let's just put this shit up. You could always go back and earn those rewards that you didn't get last season, even if it's a whole new season worth of content on the store. You could always go back and earn all that. So they need to be able to have this type of engagement with the game, one, to keep people on, because it don't even seem like people don't like the gameplay. It just seems like people don't like the game. So your first obstacle, PlayStation, is going to be keeping people playing your game. Fuck spending money, right? Your first obstacle on day one release is making sure that motherfuckers do not refund this motherfucking game. Because the way it sounds like to me, even your own fans are not satisfied. They're not happy. They feel neglected. They feel unheard. Right? And so it's going to be a lot of returns when it comes to Concord. We can't even take the day one sale seriously because a lot of motherfuckers are going to be associated to that day one sale, number or first week sales, and they not going to tell you how many returns came back though. They not going to tell you that. They not going to tell you that. Oh, we sold 500,000 copies first week. Yeah, and 150 of those got returned, motherfucker. Damn. You couldn't even 150 of them copies got returned. So, you know, it's me personally, I enjoyed, like I said, I enjoyed the game. I know I'm ragging on it, but I enjoyed the game. You know, will I be copping? Probably so. And it won't be because it's going to be one of my daily main games or nothing, but it'll be something that I have in rotation. You know what I mean? I enjoyed it, genuinely did. I'm curious to see what other heroes they add to the game. I'm curious to see what other content they bring to the game. I'm curious. This is another thing I'm curious about. I'm curious to see the consistency of content that they're going to bring to the game. How long are you guys planning on supporting the game? That's another thing with these live service games. I think people would be more. A lot of people hate live service games. A lot of people do. And I think one of the reasons why they do is because they don't keep it real with how long do you guys plan on supporting the game. Now, Destiny 2 been supported for over 10 years, right? So if you ask, outside of like sorry ass expansions, you know, unfulfilling, you know, expansions that spoil the next expansion before y'all get a chance to even announce it, you know, outside of stuff like that, when you look at the Destiny 2 community, as far as how long they've been thriving for so long. They've been thriving for so long. Bungie has done a great job of supporting the game. A great job. And so when these developers and these studios are dropping these live service games, they need to keep it real and tell us, how long do y'all plan on supporting the game? Are y'all going to do it for 5 years? Are y'all going to do it for 10 years? What if nobody plays your game? Then what? Are y'all going to only do 2 seasons, 3 seasons? And so people are already skeptical when you come out and say, hey, we're dropping a live service game, because they don't know what they're going to get. You could, especially if it's not free to play, they don't know what they're going to get, because you're going to charge us in the store with battle passes as if it is a free to play game, right? Because the most popular live service games are free to play, literally. So you're going to charge us and microtransaction us to death as if it is a free to play game. But y'all ain't free to play. Y'all charging $40. So what am I getting for my 40 though? Right? And if this is the only thing that I'm going to get for my 40, I'm going to need that 40 back. Yeah. I'm going to need that 40 back. This is not worth this alone is not worth the 40 piece. It's not. And so, you know, it's a lot of things that, you know, Sony is never open and upfront about nothing. Sony loves to give you the silent treatment. Sony loves to give you the cold shoulder, right? But that should be coming back to bite them in the ass a lot. So with this, you know, I think what will at least help calm some of the concerns of the game is to update people and let them know, how long do y'all plan on supporting this? Right? What's your plan? Plans always change. But what is your plan going into this? And then maybe people might be more open to accepting this, because niggas is mad about that factions too. But nevertheless, we're going to move on to the next topic. Let me know what you guys think about the game, if you guys have had a chance to play the game. Like I said, if you have not played this game, I got a PS5 beta code right now. DM me on Twitter or hit me in Discord. Links are in the description. First come, first serve. I got one more left off the press. So moving on to the next topic, we are going to be discussing we are going to be discussing Stellar Blade. Now, for those who don't know, this is some more PlayStation centered news. Stellar Blade had the studio that made Stellar Blade just had an IPO. What is an IPO? That's a great question because I know most of you niggas don't know about no stocks. All you niggas know is what a DualSense feel like with the haptic feedback. An IPO is an initial public offering. An initial public offering is whenever a company decides to put their stocks on the public stock market. And so when Stellar Blade, which I believe their last game was a mobile game, which is crazy to me, but when Stellar Blade went public, they did game-changing numbers with their stocks. So, Stellar Blade developer Shift Up has recently been listed on South Korea's stock market after raising the highest capital for a gaming company in the country in nearly 3 years. Let's continue reading. I'm not gonna go up there and read that. We're just gonna continue reading. The game development studio was founded by Stellar Blade director Hyung Tae Kim. Oh, he got a real Asian name. Hyung Tae Kim. Hey, you can't tell Hyung Tae Kim shit right now. He having the best day of his life or the best week. The launch of the PS5 exclusive game Stellar Blade earlier this year put Shift Up on the map. It sure did, because I bought a copy. Did you? Receiving countless positive reviews from critics and players alike, Stellar Blade also sold incredibly well despite only being available on the PS5, which hurt Stellar Blade. It could have did way more numbers. The hard-hitting action-adventure title is set in a post-apocalyptic setting that follows the protagonist Eve. Hold on, spoilers! Hold on, Game Rant dropping spoilers. What the hell they on? Let's skip ahead a little bit. As per Bloomberg, Shift Up raised 435 billion won. That sounds like a lot of motherfucking won. Or $320 million. After going public on the Korea Exchange. This is the most money a South Korean firm in the gaming sector has raised since PUBG publisher Krafton raised $3.8 billion in August. $3.8 billion in August of 2021. Now, when they say $3.8 billion, I'm assuming they mean USD. Because PUBG is way bigger than Stellar Blade. And I am almost for sure that when they went live, yeah, that's $3.8 billion. So, hey, Stellar Blade, shout out to y'all. Shout out to Stellar Yams, right? And that's well deserved. They delivered us a solid product. I'm still doing my playthrough of the game. I haven't beat it yet, but I will get back on there to check out them cheeks. You dig? But yeah, I've been enjoying my gameplay. I think I got like 15 hours into it or something like that. And yeah, they went public, and that was one of the smartest business decisions they could have made. Drop the Stellar Yams on a nigga. And you know niggas want to pay. They can't buy no OnlyFans of Eve. Eve is a fictional character. So what's the next best thing? When they studio go public, we supporting Eve by buying the stocks. That's what we doing. And so, they did perfect positioning as far as business goes. They went ahead and dropped, a great, amazing game earlier this year, and then fast forward a few months. Now we're going public. Now you guys can buy in. Right now, you guys can buy in, right? And I think that's going to give them more freedom to do what they want to do. I don't know if their next game will be a PlayStation exclusive, because I don't even think PlayStation seen the success of Stellar Yams, because it's their first title. It's their first title coming over to console. I believe their last title was a mobile game, and so they caught lightning in a bottle. But they did the right thing. They knew what they was doing, right? They didn't. The story ain't all that. It's good enough. They took a Souls like type of combat, right? Coming off the eve or the cusp of Elden Ring, right? They took that style of combat, put that in the game, threw a baddie as the main character, right? And it worked out for them, you know. It worked out for them, and that was a very smart decision. And so I'm curious to see what their next project is going to be. I'm curious to see. Oh damn, they sold 7.3 million shares. 7.3 million shares. That's a lot. But I'm curious to see what their next title is going to be, what direction they're going in. Are they going to come with a Stellar Blade 2, right? Or are they going to move on to a different IP? Are they going to be multi-plat? Like, what is, you know, those are the next questions that we have. Because obviously they have the funding now. My only issue with IPOs in the gaming industry. Is usually when the IPO gets involved and the gaming company or studio goes public, that's when the fuckery starts to enter. I ain't gonna lie. That's when the microtransactions start to come into play, you know, because it's not about the CEO no more. You got stockholders, right? You got stockholders who want to make money every fucking quarter, every year, every fiscal year. They want some money. They don't care how good your game is. They need this bag. Go talk to Microsoft and Tango. I think it was Tango. They don't give a fuck how good that game was. Where the money at? Did you bring a bag? So, you know, and that's and the only reason Tango did like that is because they are a part of a company that has public stocks, and they have stockholders and investors that they have to answer to every single quarter. Regardless, if they want to, they have to. And so now with Shift Up, they're going to be put in a similar position. I don't know none of the laws when it comes to like that world in Korea, but if it's in but because that country is so far ahead, right, when it comes to like Western world, they're almost like right there with us. I assume they have a lot of the similar laws that we do, right? I don't think it would be too much different. So I'm sure every quarter they're going to be dropping quarterlies, analysis, and giving out reports. And if that needle ain't going forward, yeah, Stellar Blade 2 is going to have microtransactions like a mofo too. So that's my only issue with the whole, you know, IPO. But outside of that, you know, hopefully this gives them room to do what they want to do. Hopefully it does. We shall see. Shout out to Shift Up and Stellar Blade for the successful IPO. So the next topic that we're going to be speaking on today is, you know, we were talking about PlayStation a little bit, so we got to show some love to Xbox, my favorite platform. And we got to talk about this bullshit with Game Pass, right? So we got a couple topics dealing with Game Pass. The first topic is Xbox Game Pass. Day one games will be on a case-by-case basis moving forward. Now, I'm a devoted, I'm a consistent, I'm a reliable subscriber of Game Pass. I do not miss my payments. And I get it for the low because they love me, right? You see right here, as you can see, I'm using Microsoft Edge right now. Right? Because I need them points. Yeah. To get that free Game Pass. Yeah. But nevertheless, right? They have kind of reneged on us. Phil Spencer, my bro. You wasn't talking about these day one games is going to be on a case by case basis when you pitched this Game Pass in the first place. You told us that we getting all the games day one. So let's see what the hell Phil and Xbox is talking about, because it's some bullshit. So recent reports indicate that games developed by Microsoft-owned studios may take from 6 months to sometimes longer to reach Xbox Game Pass standard, and that each title will be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. Them hoe ass niggas didn't tell us that shit. This may be bad news for gamers who don't want to subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. earlier this week, Microsoft announced huge changes to Xbox Game Pass. Not only did Xbox Game Pass Ultimate prices go up from $16.99 to $19.99, but Xbox Game Pass console will no longer exist except for current users. And a new tier called Xbox Game Pass Standard, which will not wait. Hold on, let me rewind that. But I got caught up. I started thinking about some whole other shit. And a new tier called Xbox Game Pass Standard, which will not have day one releases or access to cloud gaming, will be available at $11.99. These changes are likely related to introducing Activision Blizzard games to Xbox Game Pass, including the eagerly awaited Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Now, if we want to look at this, so when I initially spoke on what I thought about Phil Spencer and Xbox talking about it's going to be day one games on a case by case basis, that was me talking as a consumer. Has nothing to do with my love for the platform. This is just what y'all said. And now when it's time to drop some bangers, some needle moving games on this Game Pass, Black Ops 6 is going to do ridiculous numbers. And I will argue the only game that's going to be able to compete with Black Ops 6 in sales is that glorious GTA 6. But outside of that, ain't nothing fucking with Black Ops 6 this year until the next Call of Duty the next year, right? But now that y'all are getting ready to drop this banger, this long awaited, even people that are not into Call of Duty are talking about copping this, right? People that have skipped the last 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 Call of Duties are talking about getting this Black Ops 6. So now when it's time for y'all to drop that banger, that heat, that fire, y'all want to up the prices on us. Y'all done went down to Colombia and got the good, and now you acting brand new, which is crazy. I've been messing with you for the last 10 plus years, right? You upped the price soon as you got the weight. You changed up. Now we got to question everything you say. But I understand, though, from a business perspective. Now, if I own the business, yeah, you niggas got to pay. Come on with that money. Yeah. If you want to pay or you want to play, you got to pay. It just is what it is. You niggas ain't got to spend the $70 out of pocket, right? But y'all going to have to spend something. Y'all ain't getting this heat for free. So I understand from a business perspective why they are doing this. But it looks like so far, because when it comes to Xbox Game Pass and the subscription service in general, they have pulled all they can. They have obtained the crowd that Xbox can give them. And I'm talking about Xbox as a platform, the actual console. They have gotten the entire crowd and got them on the subscription. So there's no more that they can get out of them when it comes to growth on that platform, specifically Xbox as a console. So the only way that they can make more money, because like I was just talking about with Stellar Blade, right? Every quarter we need to see growth. If it's stagnant, that's an issue. We need to see growth every quarter. So the only way that they can get more money out of the Xbox players is to up the prices. That's the only way. They can't get any new Xbox players because people are not really buying Xboxes like that. They don't have to, right? So it's not a surge in console sales, which means there's not a surge in new Xbox console Game Pass subscribers. So the only way we can get some more money out of y'all is we got to jack the price up a little bit. It's only $3, right? It's only $3. But not only that, we're going to continue to read this. I'm going to see if they say anything about it. But this is quite interesting to me. They did not up the price for PC Game Pass. I think PC Game Pass, which is the one that I own, is $11.99 or $12.99, and you get day ones. You get day ones on PC. Yeah, PC stay winning. PC stay winning. PC, man, getting a PC was one of the best decisions I could have ever made. I ain't gonna lie. When it comes to gaming decisions, getting a PC was one of the best decisions I ever made in my gaming life. Because I got to experience everything for the low. The only thing is you gotta pay to get in. But once you pay that members fee, right? Once you put that lump sum down and you pay that members fee and they give you the clear and they slide you that Steam account, they slide you that Epic Store account, right? They give you the play on the CD Key stores and the CD Key shops where you get those them games for the low. I ain't look back. I'm telling you, I ain't look back. And so, as a PC subscriber, Game Pass subscriber, it doesn't hit me. This change don't hit me. This is for people that are on the Xbox console. And my heart goes out to you, brothers. I know my heart goes out to you, brothers. But you niggas gotta pay. You niggas ain't bought a game in I don't know how long. Yeah. You niggas ain't bought a game in I don't know how long. So you niggas gotta pay. You niggas do. Right? So I understand why they're doing this. Do I think it's right? No, I don't. It's funny to me how Xbox chooses to do their loyal fan base and customer the worst. The people who bought the platform, I would truly understand if they did this to PC gamers. Because we didn't invest in y'all. All we did was pay for the subscription. We didn't invest in y'all. We didn't go buy a $400, $500 console and then turn around and buy the subscription. We didn't do that. The people that did that are the ones that's getting the price jacked up on them. These are the people that are investing in y'all, right? So my heart goes out to guys that are on the actual Xbox console, and that's the only place where y'all can play games. You know, keep your head up. It'll be a brighter day. But, you know, I believe eventually PC Game Pass will go up too. And the reason why I feel that is because they have a pattern of doing that. Every subscription service, whether it be Netflix, whether it be Disney Plus, whether it be HBO Max, it always goes up. Once it starts to boom a little bit, they want it to boom even harder, and they jack the prices up on you. So eventually PC will get prices increased as well. They're keeping it low because they want to continue to entice PC players to come over to the platform and to, you know, start a subscription. And so the only way that they can do that is to have a low cost, right? Keep the barrier as low as possible, right? Because there is still a lot of growth that can be had on the PC side, especially with cloud gaming. Cloud gaming is literally going to change the game because you don't need a 4090. Once they get cloud gaming together and the range of optimal, you know, the range of optimal internet speeds are more acceptable, and they can be used. Hold on real quick. And it don't matter if you got 1 gigabyte up, 1 gigabyte down, right? If they can get it to a point where they can do like a 20 megabyte up, 20 megabyte down, or 100 megabyte up, 100 megabyte down, if they can get it and have the game running seamlessly on streaming, that's when they're going to win, because that's like the average Wi-Fi in the country today is 100 megabytes up and 100 megabytes down. The hell? Okay. So that's when they're going to win. When they get to that point, that's when Game Pass is going to take off. Right now, in order to play on PC, you have to have a decent rig. You don't need the top of the line. Don't let these streamers and these content creators lie to y'all. Y'all don't need the top of the line at all. You don't. When you're investing in a top of the line rig on PC, you're future proofing your PC. That's all you're doing. You're not getting a top of the line rig to play the games today, because you don't need a top of the line rig to play the games today. PS4s are playing the games today, right? So, you don't need a top of the line rig, but when they get that streaming together, it won't even matter how strong or powerful your system will be, because you could play on a toaster. If you install a screen on a toaster and an Ethernet cable, you'll be able to play on that motherfucker. You feel me? So, that's really when I believe that PC Game Pass will take off, is whenever they can optimize it a little bit better. Right now, you need pretty good internet speeds, which most people don't have, because most people don't need really good internet speeds. But most, you need really good internet speeds to have an even half decent gaming experience on it. I played on it recently. I think the last game that I played on streaming was Persona 3 Reloaded, and that shit is ass. And I'm not talking about the streaming, I'm talking about the game. Yeah, I said it. Persona is ass. I will never play that shit again. Yeah, that shit is trash. Yeah, it is. I don't know what motherfuckers seeing that motherfucker shit. I couldn't believe motherfuckers was playing that as I'm playing the damn game. I'm like, niggas is really playing this sorry ass game. Persona ain't it. Let me get off this Persona. Let me get off Persona before these niggas come from my head. But that is not the only news when it comes to Xbox Game Pass this week. Oh, actually it is. This is a 2-for-1. We got the increase, and we got the, case by case basis with day one drops on Game Pass. So yeah, that's the news for Xbox this week. It's not good news at all. It's very unfortunate, but the guys that's on the Xbox console hold the line. Shout out to King. Y'all gonna make it. Next news and topic that we have on the board for today: PlayStation Stars is making a comeback. Finally, PlayStation is, showing their consumers some love again. Because it's been a long time since PlayStation has given y'all anything. Matter of fact, they've been taking from y'all for the longest. When will y'all wake up? But let's get into the article. After nearly 1.5 month long outage, PlayStation Stars is finally back online for members worldwide. The loyalty program for PlayStation users initially went down in early June for unexplained reasons and started returning on a region-by-region basis 3 weeks later. As Sony's equivalent to Microsoft Rewards, which is trash compared to Microsoft Rewards, because Microsoft is a consumer-first, usually they're a consumer-first company, but PlayStation Stars operates in a very similar fashion. Members in eligible regions can sign up to the program for free on the PlayStation mobile app and earn points from the games they purchase and completing tasks, which can then be redeemed to buy content on the PlayStation Store. However, the program started facing major issues during the 2024 Days of Play promotional period around June 5th. Maybe, I think they meant to say State of Play. Eventually leading to a full-blown outage. Sony didn't confirm the reasons behind it, but the outage lasted over 25 days, exceeding even the PlayStation Network blackout in 2011. Hey, those were some dark days for you Sony fans. I remember that shit. And motherfucking Anonymous was on y'all line talking about we got y'all shit hostage. They was on PlayStation. After the 25-day long service disruption, Sony finally confirmed in early July that PlayStation Stars would return via a staggered regional rollout. The loyalty program's operations were first resumed in Asia, with Europe, Australia, and the Americas to follow shortly after. Now the service for PlayStation Stars has been restored in all regions at last, allowing players to finally utilize the program's benefits fully once again. And I wonder if they gave PlayStation fans any type of reward for being loyal, for looking out, hey, for rolling with y'all through these tough times. I don't think they gave PlayStation fans a motherfucking thing. Let's see if they did. Many have also reported on forums like Reset Era and Reddit that their points had been tracked correctly for games they had purchased on the PlayStation Store during the outage, relieving concerns for many players. So at least they did that. At least they gave y'all what y'all are entitled to, what y'all earned. You ain't getting no more than what you did, though, motherfucker. On the flip side, other members complained that they didn't accumulate any points for their mid-outage purchases. Ooh. Mirroring a similar situation faced by some PlayStation Stars members who didn't receive their Christmas rewards earlier this year. While the circumstances do seem alike, it must be noted that PlayStation Plus members can earn loyalty points from in-store purchases. PlayStation Stars members who didn't have an active PlayStation Plus subscription during the downtime wouldn't have been eligible to acquire loyalty points, which could explain why some people might be missing them after the program came back online. Now, it's funny to me how it took 25 days for PlayStation to get PlayStation Stars back online. And I think it was some bullshit that was going on the backside. I'm going to go through, and I'm going to do some research, but I want to go through and see the rewards that you got prior to the outage and the rewards that you got after the outage. And then I also want to go back and see the rate in which you earn rewards. So do they take it longer? Do they make it longer to earn the same thing today than they did before the outage? Because I think it's some shit like that going on right now. Right. If I wanted to earn enough points to, let's say, buy a $70 game on the PlayStation Store, let's say it took me 6 months to do that. Right, consistently logging in, consistently earning trophies, consistently buying and purchasing games. At that same rate, it took me 6 months. I feel like right now it might take 9 months to do the same thing. Either 9 months or a year. So I'm curious about that. I'm gonna do some research. I have no proof. I have no evidence. But my spidey senses are tingling. Yeah. So that's what's going on. PlayStation Stars. We ain't going to stick on it too long. We're going to move on to the next topic. So, No More Room in Hell 2 is entering early access on Steam August 14th. So for people who don't know what this game is, it is a co-op. It is a co-op zombie shooter, and Lord knows we need more of these right now, you know, and I'm being sarcastic, but nah, in all actuality, the game looks decent. I wouldn't say it looks like anything super spectacular, but it looks like something that's right up my alley. I used to love Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. I played the shit out of those games on Xbox 360. I played the shit, and there has been no same thing for Call of Duty Zombies back in the day, World at War, you feel me, back in those days, Kino der Toten, all that, right? And there have been no zombie games. That's why I have to go to games like DayZ. That's why I have to go to games like DayZ to get that zombie fix, because there are no, and now I'm playing Once Human. Hey, real quick plug. If you ain't played Once Human and you enjoy, you're on PC and you enjoy, you know, casual, real casual, turn your brain off type of gameplay, right? Once Human is a great live service game. Oh my gosh, it is so fucking addictive. It is insane. I haven't spent $1 on that game. I've already unlocked content from the store. Right, I've only put 5 hours into the game thus far, even though I did play the beta when they had the beta out prior to them doing early access. But they released, I want to say they released the same week as the first Descendant. The only reason the First Descendant, in my opinion, got more attention than Once Human is because First Descendant is on consoles. If Once Human was on consoles, niggas would not be talking about the First Descendant, I promise you. The First Descendant is like and the First Descendant is not bad either, even though I did say it's trash a couple weeks ago. I went back and played it when I was bored one day, and I did feel a couple dopamine hits every now and again, you feel me, once I actually engaged with it. I played the game initially, and I wasn't really wanting to play the game, so, you know, it wasn't hard for it to turn me off. But once I opened myself up a little bit more to the gameplay and to what I was doing, you know, I actually low-key enjoyed the game. But it still ain't got shit on Once Human. Once Human is like that. If you have a PC and you enjoy, you know, anything like a Rust, anything like a Daisy, anything like a Tarkov, if you enjoy those type of games where you got to grind a little bit, right, Once Human is definitely something that's worth at least downloading. It's a free game. You ain't got to spend nothing to get it. So that's just a quick plug. But, you know, right now that's where I got to go to get my zombie fix, Daisy or Once Human. That's where I got to go. And this game looks like it could be a potential game that will keep me busy for a solid 20 to 30 hour experience. Hopefully they don't try to, you know, drag it out any longer than that, because, you know, it's only so many levels of zombies that you could create. It doesn't look like it has a crafting system. It doesn't look like it has like a base system, a base building system. It looks very Left 4 Dead-ish or Left 4 Dead-esque. So if that's the case, you know, a solid 20 to 30 hour experience is all I need from this. The graphics look halfway decent, right? It doesn't look game changing, but at least it looks like they're keeping up the par with what we're already getting when it comes to zombie games. Oh yeah, shout out to Dying Light 2. I play that every blue moon. I ain't got that installed right now, so I haven't been playing it as much. But whenever I do have it installed, I keep it as a game. I keep in rotation as well. So it looks like it's keeping up graphically with those games, you know. So it looks like a half decent game. It doesn't look terrible. So we're going to go ahead and see what the developers are talking about. And this is a what we need to know video. Let's go ahead and check this out.
In Hell 2, the entirely co-op, objective-based zombie horror game releasing on Halloween later this year. Now, if it's not on your radar already, this video will aim to tell you a bit more about the game and its original prequel, show some footage from recent trailers and dev diaries, as well as covering what we might be able to expect based on mechanics from the first game and what the developers have shared thus far. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you'll know whether or not it's one you're interested in playing, and if you do, maybe drop the video a like and subscribe to the channel for all things zombie and survival games. So first things first, what is No More Room in Hell 2? To give you a basic summary, imagine if Left 4 Dead were a slower, more punishing horror experience, where if you die, that's it, you're done. The game has announced its release date at Summer Games Fest this year with a new trailer, as well as a dev diary at the PC Games Show, and is set to drop on Halloween of 2024. But that's just the basic overview. Let's take a look in a bit more detail now. Each game has up to 8 players and is entirely co-op, with no PvP involved whatsoever. So if you're looking for a game in which the players control some of the zombies, this isn't it. Instead, you'll be dedicated to trying to stay alive as one of the responders to the outbreak by scavenging what you can while searching for the other survivors and then attempting to complete several objectives in various parts of the map, culminating at one final showdown involving all of the remaining players. There's a heavy emphasis on teamwork and conservation of resources in No More Room in Hell, which is carried over from the first game. I can tell you from experience this results in some incredibly tense moments where every shot counts, and you might be relying on teammates to throw you some ammo or take out some zombies for you when your weapon runs dry. Now, especially at the start of the game, this can also mean quite a big push towards the use of melee weapons too, and it'll be interesting to see how melee weapon combat has changed change between the two games, and I'll get onto that in a bit more detail later because there's a bit more behind that. One of the biggest elements to No More Room in Hell though is that there are no respawns. It's a permadeath experience. If a survivor dies, the rest of the team will have to dispatch their zombified corpse, scavenge supplies they can from their bodies, and move on without them to completely.
Now that's the interesting component of this game, because there's really not much innovation to a zombie-based, level-based game, period, whether it be a shooter, whether it be melee focused. There's really not much innovation that you can do that hasn't been done already. So the things that they are innovating on, they're adding permadeath, which is cool because now it adds a level of consequence, and that's the dopamine hit that you get when you survive. And then you start with 8 people, and then you look up, it's only 2 of y'all left, and the only issue I do have with that not being able to revive is, you know, if you're playing with people, now they gotta wait on you, right? And this is the issue that Tarkov has, right? When you die in Tarkov in a raid, that's it. That's all, right? So the person has a choice in Tarkov. Either they could go do a scav run real quick and wait for their teammates, or they could do their own PMC run, right? Gear up again and go in solo, or go in with whoever else died in their squad. And then whenever the original squad extracts from the raid, then they got to either wait for them to come back out the raid, or they can queue up again as well. And so I see that possibly being an issue as far as like wait time. You might have a lot of downtime in this game if you're playing with people, but if you're solo queuing, I actually like that. It adds a level of immersion because it does have a consequence, right? People have to think a little bit more tactically, because another thing that you get, experience that you get with a lot of these zombie games is there is no consequence. There is no, oh no, I'm about to die, right? Let me get a med kit. There is none of that, because usually when you get down, you can get right back up into the fight, right? Or once, say if you do die, say if your team can't revive you, once they get to the next checkpoint, you usually would respawn back in. That's what Left 4 Dead did. So there is no real consequence of death. Whereas in this game, not only do you die permanently, but your body turns into a zombie, so they can pull the gear off of you after you've turned into a zombie. That's dope as hell. That's immersive. So I'm very curious just on that to see how they tie that into the gameplay. The game, like they said, is not supposed to enter full release until Halloween, but they are entering, and I think they just released this news this week. They announced they are going into early access August 14th. So from August 14th to Halloween is going to be the early access period. That also says a lot about their confidence in the game, meaning that a lot of these games, especially on Steam, when they go into early access, they'll be in early access for years. For years, they'll be in, or at least 1 year. Right, and the reason why a lot of these developers will put their game in early access before it's finished is because they're trying to generate capital to finish developing the game. And instead of going and pulling money from investors, they like, shoot, let's go to the community, put it on Steam, early access, and people will buy the game, and we can use the money that they're purchasing the game with, and use that for development costs. So the fact that they're not having a long early access, at least so far, they could delay it at any day, but at least so far we know it's not going to be in early access long. So that means that hopefully the game will be feature complete.
The objective. Now, the prequel did have a wave-based survival mode as well, but we've not had any mention of that just yet in any of the footage we've seen so far. And interestingly as well, the developers do seem to hint towards one singular map that's incredibly large in size, rather than several maps like the first game did. I'm unsure if this is just the plan for early access, and maybe we'll get some more maps later down the line, but it's a very brave decision to say the least, and hopefully Additionally, the map is both vast enough and interesting enough to keep players busy for extended periods, if that.
My guy hit it right on the head. If you only gonna have one map, you better have a lot of biomes, a lot of different contrasting biomes on the map. It better not feel like I'm playing the same level in different areas with copy and paste assets. And hopefully this is just the early access thing. I don't think that having one map is good enough. That's already a red flag to me. But we gonna see though. We gonna see. Hopefully they at least have a day and night cycle. Damn.
That is the way they're choosing to go. The map design we've seen from the trailers does look incredibly detailed. There's some really creative use of lighting to sell that immersive horror experience, and there seems to be some real variety in the environments too.
Another quick point, if they're going to only have one map, hopefully there's a level of destruction. It don't have to be where you're knocking down buildings like Battlefield, but have a level of destruction where at least, even though it's the same map, things change, right? There's a level of RNG, or not even RNG, but there's a level of, you know, things changing on the same map to where each experience is a little different. And then also, hopefully there's a level of interactive things that we could do on the map that doesn't make it, you know, feel just stale is the word I'm looking for, where everything that you see, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of debris. There's a lot of detail. But it's the same shit, right? So at least have it to where there's a level of interaction with the environment.
Map we've been told about is a power plant set in rural Pennsylvania, which looks very imposing, and the developers have even stated that the various objectives we'll need to complete around the map have been inspired by iconic horror and zombie media scenarios, so that sounds pretty promising. So where has No More Room in Hell actually come from? There's probably a handful of you watching this that have played the original game way back in 2011, when it first released as a mod for Half-Life 2. It was then released as a standalone game in 2013 by Leather Games, who have now been acquired by Torn Banner Studios, allowing many of the original game's developers to work on the sequel as full-time game developers, rather than part-time modders working on a passion project. Now, I think I was about 13 or something when I first played this game, and I'm now 27, so it's been a long time since the original, and of course, it is a bit dated by this point, but if you're interested in learning a bit more about what we can expect from the sequel, the original game is free to play on Steam, and it's still a lot of fun to this day, especially if you've got a friend or two to join you. I actually went and played a few rounds of the original myself when I was making this video, and it definitely still holds up despite its age. One thing I definitely took away from playing the first one again though is that the zombies are very grounded, as in there are no special types of zombies that could do crazy things like spit acid or scream for help, for example. Most of the zombies are just your average shamblers, but there are runners here and there to throw a spanner in the works, especially the ones that take the form of a reanimated teammate that's just fallen to the undead. Controversially, the first game also featured child zombies, which I'm gonna hazard a guess won't be in the second game just to avoid any complications. Gaming in general is much more widespread now, and as a result is more heavily regulated, so it would be a gamble at best if they decided to include those. Still, something to think about if you're thinking of giving it a try. We're unlikely to see those special infected zombie variants. Now, just a moment ago I mentioned that Torn Banner have acquired the original developers, and if you're thinking to yourself that name is familiar and you're not quite sure why, that's because these guys made Chivalry, which was also originally a mod for Half-Life 2 and then became a standalone game with its own sequel. The guys at Torn Banner have quite literally been through exactly the same process as the developers from.
That gives me hope right there. Chivalry is a good game. I have that game. I've enjoyed playing it. I don't play it often, but every now and again I'll crank that bad boy on and go cut some heads off some shoulders, if you feel what I'm saying. So these are the guys behind Chivalry, and I don't know if they made Chivalry 2, but they came up with the concept of Chivalry, and that's interesting. So that means they are battle tested, which says a lot. And Chivalry is a good game, so that gives me a lot of confidence No More Room in Hell 2 is definitely gonna be a day one for sure, and I'm talking early access day one. I will be there.
The once Lever Games, and as a result can bring that expertise to the table for the release of this game. To say it's in good hands is probably a huge understatement in this case. I'm also expecting it to have a big impact on the melee combat of the game,
Right.
based on some of the developers from Torn Banner obviously having a lot of experience with making this feel weighted and impactful within the Chivalry franchise. At the time, the melee combat in the first No More Room in Hell was pretty good, but today expectations are significantly higher, and again,
True.
I'd say the developers have got some really strong talent on hand to help them with this one. So
looks
that's
good.
just about it for
looks real
everything
good.
you need to know
Even though
about
this is-
No More Room in Hell 2,
like
and
this
this
little clip
video
is
was
30
really
frames.
just to put it on your radar and help you decide if it's one you'd like to track as we get closer to its release this Halloween. But if you're looking for some more intel about the game, I'm going to leave a link down in the description to both the Steam store page.
Okay, that was a good little overview of the game. Shout out to, what's his name, Mr. Atomic Duck. Go check out his channel. He does some pretty good overviews, and he's pretty detailed, as you can see. Go check him out, Mr. Atomic Duck. Shout out to him. And like I said, No More Room in Hell 2 is a day one cop. If they could give me even half of the experience of what I used to get from Left 4 Dead, they're going to be on to something. So that is No More Room in Hell 2. The news for that is that it will be entering early access on August 14th. Be on the lookout for that one. So the next, we're going to be moving on to the next topic. Just a real quick plug for guys who are into free games. Amazon is doing a free game giveaway for Prime Day coming up. Speaking of Chivalry 2, Chivalry 2 is one of those games that they're giving away for free. Rise of the Tomb Raider, the 20-year celebration, is also being given away for free. And then Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is also being given away free on Amazon Prime. So go check those games out to see if they have the platform that you play on primarily. See if they're giving it away on one of those platforms. Again, it's Chivalry 2, Rise of the Tomb Raider, the 20-year collection or celebration, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is being given away by Amazon. Go check that out. So on to the next news. Wolverine, the next game and title coming from Insomniac Studios, might be in a little trouble. Why do I say that? I actually have not seen anybody speak on it except Game Rant. The reason why is because the Wolverine game associate, the narrative director, has left Insomniac. So this is very interesting timing, because I assume that it could be two reasons why they left. Either they got a better position and they're no longer needed as far as like narrative direction for the development where the game is at currently in development, or they are not happy with the way the game is being produced. So let's read into this a little bit and see what's going on. Let's get the tea on this. An associate narrative director for Marvel's Wolverine recently announced that she will be departing Insomniac Games for a new role at Witcher developer CD Projekt Red. Announced during the 2021 PlayStation Showcase, Marvel's Wolverine. I say Marveline. What the hell is a Marveline? Marvel's Wolverine is set to be a grittier, more mature game than Insomniac's relatively lighter and mega popular Spider-Man titles. 3 years ago, not much has been said about Wolverine. At least officially, the enormous Insomniac data breach in December 2023 leaked huge chunks of sensitive information about Wolverine, such as the plot points, characters, licensing agreements, and voice casts, with even playable alpha builds of the game making their way to data miners. Even after suffering the devastating leak, Insomniac affirmed in an official statement that development on Wolverine will continue as planned and a proper reveal will happen when the studio is ready. While fans patiently wait to see more of Wolverine in the future, it seems to have recently lost some major talent behind the scenes, and that's the issue right there. In a new LinkedIn post, former Wolverine associate narrative director Mary Kinney announced that she recently left Insomniac for a senior writer position at CD Projekt Red, which is currently developing the sequel to Cyberpunk 2077. That should be a banger. If they fuck this up, I mean, we all know that they can bounce back, but we can't have two terrible releases for that Cyberpunk IP. That Cyberpunk IP is too precious of an IP to keep fucking that up. And honestly, I see Cyberpunk becoming a movie or a TV show eventually. The narrative is very in-depth. They already have world-renowned actors in the game. So it only makes sense for it to become a TV show or a movie. I'm not even a huge movie or TV show guy, but I'm watching that day one. Just like I watched The Witcher series. And I enjoyed The Witcher. I didn't understand all the hate. I thoroughly enjoyed The Witcher. But let's continue to see what else was said. Kenny lent her talents to Insomniac for over 5 years, during which she also worked on Spider-Man Miles Morales and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. A few months prior to Kenny's departure, the art director for Wolverine, Aaron Habibipur, that is a crazy last name, also exited Insomniac. The art director left Insomniac as well to work for CD Projekt Red. So he probably created the bridge for her. Kenny didn't specify which project she's working on at the Polish RPG studio, but Habibipur Habibipur did confirm that he's part of the Project Orion team. Although the departures may seem alarming to fans, it should help to know that Insomniac's title has been in the works for a long time, and the leaks likely prove that Wolverine's narrative and art direction are set in stone by now. And that's what I'm thinking too. Maybe that they're at a point in development where they don't really need them. It's already been a direction's already been started. You know, they've already went in a certain direction with the narrative and the art. So they might be in a place where they're just doing maybe casting for voice lines or putting together marketing material or something to that nature, to the effect of optimizing the game. But as far as the real development part of it, they probably over that. So it might be that too. Therefore, Kenny's and Habibipur's departure don't seem to hint at any internal turmoil or development challenges. The only reason I will also say that it could hint towards issues with development is because what about the DLC, right? What about any extra content, right? I'm sure you would want to have the same people who made the original base game and created the narrative for that also work on the DLC, right? So, you know, I'm sure they're not necessarily working on the DLC right now, but it's interesting to see that they have left the studio before the game even comes out, because it's another reason. A lot of these studios get bonuses, right? These developers and the people that work at these studios, they get bonuses when these games get nominated at the Game Awards, when they win awards, right? They get bonuses. So a lot of the times when they're going through the phase where they're crunching, the hope that they have is that, well, at least when this game is out and if it's received well publicly, and then it gets nominated for awards and then it wins awards, it will all pay itself back, because I'm going to get some bonuses. I'm going to get some more money. Now, I don't know if that's tied to maybe a separation clause or they're still entitled to that, but it's interesting to see that you put in all that work on a project and you're not even going to be there to see it come full circle. So that's why I challenge that it could possibly mean that there is some internal turmoil, especially after the data breach. It's no telling what that environment is like. It might be really hostile, because not only did the information get leaked on the development of the game, but an actual playable alpha got leaked as well. And as an artist, you do not want your content to be out there prematurely. As a company, you do not want to lose control of the information that comes out about your product prematurely. Because even though it's an alpha, people will still judge it as if it's a full release. Meanwhile, progress for CD Projekt Red's games appears to have ramped up as the studio wrapped up development on Cyberpunk 2077. Sometime back to fully focus on its future projects. Wolverine is much further along in its development cycle, but neither Insomniac nor Sony have confirmed an official release window at the time of writing. If Insomniac's track record is anything to go by, though, fans shouldn't have anything to worry about, which is also true. Insomniac does have a solid resume. They have a solid work ethic, and they don't miss too often. So even though they have employees leaving that are, important roles for these development cycles, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to come out shitty or half-baked or anything less than what we've expected. Another thing that I'm concerned about is we know about the whole drama behind Sweet Baby Inc. And maybe she might have left because she didn't want to be involved in these sorry ass narratives that these games are pushing nowadays, right? Maybe she wanted a little bit more control. Maybe at CD Projekt Red, they would be willing to give her more control over her creation, right? Maybe they didn't have as many consulting firms involved in having their hands in the pot, right? And CD Projekt Red is willing to do that. CD Projekt Red is not trying to be politically correct, whereas Insomniac has proven that they are always trying to be politically correct, even to a fault. So that could be an issue as well too. We just gonna have to wait to see till we get more information. But that is what's going on with Wolverine from Insomniac's games. Next topic that we'll be discussing is Hellblade 2 and the sales not looking too good. Now, of course, the sales are not going to be looking too good. Why would I say that? Because if you are a Gamepass subscriber, you got the game included in the subscription. Most of the people that had, if not all the people that had access to this game, were able to get it through the subscription. So of course, the subscription would cannibalize sales. And this is why I can't stand a lot of these journalists, because they portray it as if it wasn't expected. This game dropped on Game Pass day and date. Day one, it was on Game Pass. I played the game. Did I beat it? No. I didn't beat the game because I didn't really enjoy it all. It wasn't for me. Right? Some people, it was only 5 hours. It's only 6 hours. Why didn't you beat the game? I don't know about you niggas, but my time is valuable. If I don't enjoy it, or I wouldn't even say I didn't enjoy the game is just not for me. If I'm not having the time of my life in the first hour of the game, why in the hell would I invest 5 more hours? Why in the hell would I invest 30 more minutes? I'm not going to sit through an experience that I'm not utterly enjoying just to say I beat it. I don't care that much. So, of course the sales are not going to be that good because the game was on Game Pass. Like, these motherfuckers are so disingenuous. They're so disingenuous. But let's see what these suckers had to say about Hellblade 2. Recently published sales data shows that Senua's Saga's Hellblade 2 isn't faring too well commercially in the United States. Just such a misleading statement. The long-awaited follow-up to 2017's Hellblade: Senua's Saga Sacrifice, and the only Xbox first-party title released so far in 2024, Hellblade 2 launched for Xbox Series consoles and PC May 21st. Although Hellblade 2 features top-tier graphics, which it does, created using Unreal Engine 5, its overall scope is very much in line with its predecessor. The story comes in at around 7 to 8 hours, and the game costs $50, which is a far cry from many $70 AAA games that can provide hundreds of hours of gameplay. Developer Ninja Theory previously announced its intention to offer Hellblade 2 as a smaller scale experience. They been told y'all that, so I don't know why when the game came out, you motherfuckers was acting brand new. You motherfuckers was acting, oh, it's only 5 hours. You made us wait all this time for a 5 hour, 6 hour experience. They told you that. You should have knew. If you bought the game and you expected anything more than a short scale, it's a small scale experience, right? A few hours. And that was your expectation was, oh, I'm going to get at least 20 to 30 hours out the experience. You played yourself. Developer Ninja Theory previously announced its intention to offer Hellblade 2 as a smaller scale experience that focuses on immersion over everything else. Reviews for Hellblade 2 were mostly positive, but even after almost 2 months since its release, Ninja Theory has yet to report any player numbers or sales figures. However, Matt Piscatella from US-based analyst firm Circana recently revealed some sales data that offers a glimpse into how Hellblade 2 has performed commercially since its launch. In terms of full US dollar game sales, physical and digital, which I think the game only had a digital release, so I'm confused why they said physical. Hellblade 2 ranked 37th overall and 21st on Xbox Series consoles for the month of May 2024. It's worth mentioning that Hellblade 2 launched on Xbox Gamepass on day one. Of course it's worth mentioning. That's where most of the people played the game. Like, y'all are trying to push this narrative, oh, Hellblade 2 didn't sell that well. Where all the consoles that it released on, it had Game Pass. It didn't release on PlayStation. Now, if it released on PlayStation and the sales were sorry, I would give you more room. I would understand where you're coming from if it sold poorly on PlayStation. But the game was not put out to be bought at the full price. The game was put out to entice more people to enter Game Pass. So if we're going to judge the game, that's how we have to judge the game. We have to judge the game on the before and after, or the increase in Game Pass subscribers or the decrease in Game Pass subscribers. That's how we have to judge the game. That's the metrics that matter. Motherfuckers talking about it didn't sell that well. Of course it didn't sell that well. What the hell? So its sales will have been impacted as a result. However, when looking at Game Pass player engagement, Hellblade 2 came in 12th place, falling one spot behind 2018's Fallout 76. Of course it did, because the show released around that time. Bethesda Studios earlier this year, let's reverse that a little bit. I skipped a little bit. The somewhat lukewarm commercial performance of Hellblade 2 has many fans worried about Ninja Theory's future at Microsoft. Why? If it released in Game Pass. It doesn't make sense. Because Ninja Theory is not just a studio that develops games. A lot of people don't know this. Ninja Theory is also a studio that consults other gaming studios owned by Microsoft when it comes to visual and immersive gameplay. They are not just a studio that can only offer highly graphical games. They have other assets as well. They have experience as well. So Ninja Theory is not at jeopardy right now like Tango was. Tango didn't have the same support behind them from Microsoft that Ninja Theory does. So keep that in mind. Let's rewind this sentence back. The somewhat lukewarm commercial performance of Hellblade 2 has many fans worried about Ninja Theory's future at Microsoft, especially after the company shuttered 4 Bethesda studios earlier this year. neither Ninja Theory nor Microsoft have commented on the sales reception of Hellblade 2, and it's unclear if the title met its internal revenue estimates. Right, y'all don't even know if it met the expectations. It could have blown the expectations out of the water. But you negative Nancy's want to always throw shade because y'all don't agree with the business model. I see what's really going on. As that information isn't publicly available, Ninja Theory and Xbox may not have seen Hellblade 2 as a massive seller, so the game's performance may be entirely within expectations, which I feel that is what's going on. That's what I feel like happened. Hellblade 2 may be intended to be a concise, well-crafted experience that's capable of showing off the capabilities of the Xbox hardware, which many players believe it accomplishes. Facts. Graphically, it is gorgeous. Reports also suggest that Ninja Theory's next game has already been greenlit. It has been greenlit. So the studio doesn't seem to be under any form of scrutiny at the moment. Only time will tell whether Hellblade 2 met Microsoft's targets or not. And I think they're trying to pull nothing out of thin air. That's what I think they're trying to do. I don't think Hellblade or Ninja Theory is an issue for Microsoft. I don't think that Microsoft is not satisfied with what Hellblade 2 did. The day that it was released, there was a lot of engagement on Gamepass. I assume that there was a lot of people that wanted to play the game because the game was being talked about, whether from a positive light or a negative light, online that whole week leading up to Hellblade 2. And then they started to ramp up marketing the week that it launched. So I think that they got exactly what they were expecting. They got engagement in Game Pass. They probably got a few more subscribers for Game Pass. And as far as people engaging with Hellblade 2 and downloading it, see, that's how you support the game if it's day one on Game Pass as an exclusive. You download it, right? And that's how you show love to Hellblade and Ninja Theory. And I downloaded the game and I played it for about an hour and I put it down. But yeah, I don't think there's nothing wrong with Hellblade 2. I don't think that they are in jeopardy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Moving on to the next topic. We're going to be, since we got Shadow the Erd Tree right here on the screen under my mouse. And right now is, it's FromSoft summer. We can't lie. FromSoft got the summer this year. But in spirit of Souls-likes games and, celebrating amazing Souls games from FromSoft, there is a new Souls-like game on the horizon, and it's supposed to be coming August 8th, right? So let's check it out. Let's see what's going on. Souls-like fans can look forward to the August 8th release of Deathbound. Now, I've never heard of this game up until seeing this article. So let's check it out real quick. Let's see if we can get any type of gameplay.
Eons ago, Goddess Life tricked her sister, Goddess Death, to seize her powers and create an immortal race. But Death sought revenge, seducing them to relinquish immortality, and their society crumbled. Centuries later, a new medieval civilization arose, led by the Church of Death, who relentlessly pursues the cult of life. Aiming to defy death once more, the Essence Mancers sought a ritual using first men's tech for eternal life with dire consequences. We are the result of these experiments.
Okay, it has my interest peaked. It's coming out on PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam. So that's good to see. That's good to see. Let's actually go look at some more. Let's look at some more content behind Deathbound. I'm actually curious because I enjoy Souls likes. I'm a new Souls like enjoyer though. I didn't really like it before. I felt like it was self-induced pain, but I understand now. I've walked into the light, and I'm not looking back. Oh yeah, Mortal. This dude is cold. I like his videos. Let's check him out. Let's see what he's talking about. Shout out to Mortal Gaming.
What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you an early preview of Deathbound, a Souls-like title that I've covered once before when it had a public demo available, and I believe there's still a public demo available. But since then, it looks like the game has an official release date now of August 8th, and they reached out asking if I wanted to take a look at a preview of it. Now, I believe the preview is a bit different than the demo, so that's something to know, I suppose, but as I've mentioned, it's a Souls-like, and that's a bit of a broad term these days, so let's talk a little more specifically. What makes this particular game unique is that we're going to be shifting between several characters who are all bound together via some supernatural occurrence, with each of them representing a play style. I believe there's 7 in total, but you can only have 4 sort of bound together at one time, with combat, of course, involving a lot of swapping back and forth, including to set up combos that the game calls morph strikes based on how much sync you've acquired, which is a sort of charge meter for these combo attacks. But before we get into the specific...
I ain't gonna lie, so far it's giving me a lot of Lords of the Fallen vibes, which could be a good or bad thing. Lords of the Fallen is a cool game. Does it fuck with FromSoft games? Hell no. But it's a cool game. My issue with Lords of the Fallen was optimization on PC. It was terrible. But it's giving me a lot of Lords of the Fallen vibes.
Specifics, let's start with the broader stuff. What is this story? What is it all about, etc.? Well, apparently, the game intends to be a mix of sci-fi and religion. So there's a lot of high-tech, sort of bioengineering seemingly going on, which brings you this weird mix of, I would say, very recognizable technology mixed with things that are very clearly more fantasy-oriented. And all of that is juxtaposed against very religious orders that seem to mimic a more medieval hierarchy. Best I can tell, there's 2 sort of main factions, the people who follow the goddess of death and the people who follow the goddess of life. And seemingly, a bit contrary to what you might expect, the goddess of death people, while certainly cruel and violent, seem to be more obsessed with people dying their final death, as opposed to the followers of the cult of life who are messing around with all sorts of genetics and reanimation, which I thought was a little bit of an interesting twist compared to what you might expect. Now, to that end, the game kicks off with us being put in the role of a crusader. Inspiring the world and monster design are the 5 stages of grief. And to that end, an early boss you fight here has a few interesting phase shifts I thought were worth mentioning to kind of give you an idea of what they've got going on combo-wise, where at first the monster is deaf and blind, so it can't see you or hear you, so it only attacks in the general direction in which you've been attacking it. But a little ways into the fight, it'll sprout some head, and then that head has ears, so it's able to more easily track where you are, before its final phase where it rips off its blindfold and starts casting magic at you more accurately. And trying to fight that while also running around combos and stuff made for a pretty interesting experience. In particular though, your fallen warriors aren't just generic props that you'll switch between, but rather they all have personalities and ideals, and how you have them bound on your sort of overall party matters, because they can form either conflict or synergies with the other characters you have equipped, which will give you either buffs or debuffs, or buffs and debuffs, based on who you have equipped and how you're using them, which adds a surprisingly dynamic element to the combat that I enjoyed a fair bit. But as you fight all these things and kill monsters, etc., we gain, of course, our experience, and we can spend this at the rest points called phylacteries.
Yeah, I'm not really too interested in this, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be on the lookout for it. Is it a day one? Hell no, I need to see what the reviews is talking about. Looks very generic to me. Graphically, it doesn't look impressive at all whatsoever. Maybe it's just because of the compression of the video. Maybe it might look better on screen, running natively, but it doesn't look impressive at all. It looks just generic. It doesn't look like it's bad, but it doesn't look like it's good. So, yeah, we're gonna see though. I'm gonna keep my eye out for it. You know, Deathbound, if you're something that you're interested in, it comes out August 8th, so it is right around the corner. So shout out to Mortismal Gaming. Go check out his channel. He makes some great videos. He 100% games all the time. So if you're interested in like RPGs and stuff, he's a great channel to watch. But moving on to the next topic, we are going to be talking about Bloodborne possibly being playable on PC. Yes, Bloodborne is possibly going to be playable on PC. So got a couple videos to watch about, or actually one video to watch about it. And then we're going to read a little bit into this article. Hey, we're going to watch Mudamar, aka Some Ordinary Gamer. But let's check out what they're talking about. So Bloodborne could be playable on PC in the future thanks to a new emulator. This I'm definitely keeping my eye out for, and the reason why is because I tried to play Bloodborne today. Like I said, I'm new to the Souls world, so I didn't play a lot of those earlier games. Like right now I'm doing a Demon Souls playthrough, side by side a Elden Ring playthrough, doing another playthrough through Elden Ring, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So everybody keeps talking about how Bloodborne is the best game out of the series, which kind of makes me roll my eyes a little bit, because I'm like, Elden Ring went mainstream, Bloodborne didn't necessarily go mainstream, so how can it be the best game? Obviously Elden Ring is the best game. That's neither here nor there. But I tried to go back and play Bloodborne, and I just couldn't do it. The game is not aged well at all, so I at least need those 60 frames, and that's not something we can get with Bloodborne right now. But let's hopefully pretty soon it's looking like we might get that opportunity. So Bloodborne might soon unofficially jump to PC with the help of a PlayStation 4 emulator. Since its release in 2015, there's been no shortage of fans who have been asking for a remastered PC version of the developer From Software's critically acclaimed action RPG. Though previous reports claim that these requests did not convince publisher Sony. So like I said, Sony be playing you ponies, man, and y'all just need to wake up. But it did not convince Sony to greenlight a port. However, some users are taking matters into their own hands and have even teased a promising emulator that could soon let players experience Bloodborne on their desktops. Bloodborne has long been regarded as one of the most masterful examples of the Souls-like genre, with many fans believing the Lovecraftian action RPG equaled or even surpassed all subsequent From Software projects. However, its status as a PlayStation exclusive also meant its reach was limited compared to other multi-platform titles, much to the regret of its fans. Furthermore, a reliable insider additionally reported both From Software and Sony currently have no plans to port Bloodborne to PC, though director Hideki Miyazaki also notably claimed he was not opposed to the idea. So, hey, I'm definitely keeping my eye out for this, because the first opportunity I can play Bloodborne on my PC, you know your boy's going to be right on top of that. So let's see. I just wanted to read a snippet out of that article. We are going to go check out the actual emulator. So Mudahar did a video on it. Check out a little snippet of it. See what he's talking about.
Now, if you look into it, emulator-wise, you've got RPCX, Obliteration, Orbital, Shad PS4, Spine, which we actually ran Sonic Mania on a long time ago, and you've also got compatibility layers like FPPS4, PS Off, GPCS4, Kaiti, and PS4 Delta. Now, compatibility layers are different. They're not necessarily emulators. They're basically tools that are designed to translate calls on the fly to a operating system that you use. So when I play Elden Ring on my PC, it's not because From Software made a Linux version of the game. No, I download the Windows version, and I use a compatibility layer like Proton to translate those Windows calls to Linux on the fly, meaning that I can play the game with little performance loss or basically native at best. Now, of course, with PlayStation 5, the only way to play Bloodborne on PS5 or really any updated system is officially through Sony. Now, whether Sony keeps this going in the future, who really knows? Whether Sony decides to give a 60-frame patch to Bloodborne, which they easily could, who knows? Whether From Software gets into it, who knows? So again, going back to Shad PS4, I went to their website and immediately right here, I was a little bit shocked, okay? Gave me a little sketchy vibe, so to speak. So immediately in their news are like, Blueborn. Oh boy, we got some Blueborn here. So immediately I looked into it. I'm like, today we have a big surprise for y'all. Shad PS4 is the first emulator that gets to the character screen on Blueborn game. Well, it's still far from playable, but a start has been made. Now, what I'm about to show you may not be the most mind-blowing experience, but it's something that I feel is important, right? You have to understand progression. Years ago, we went from having a black screen crashes from Metal Gear Solid 4 to having it completely, fully playable on a computer, okay? Insane stuff. So they had a video posted of version 0.1.1, so very much in the fucking alpha state. So to show you how it works over here, firing up the emulator, you can actually see Sony Computer Entertainment presents in red text, okay? So the color buffer's a little wild. You got the Japan Studio font right there, the splash screen from software.
The legends
and
themselves.
I shit you not, what's actually baffling is you get to go to Bloodborne's actual login screen.
Wow.
So here you can actually select play offline, play online. You go to new game, and you can actually go to the brightness screen. You basically hit whatever you have to. And where the game tends to have a little bit of an issue, ladies and gentlemen, is the character creator screen. So on the contract screen, you can actually enter your character, your gender, age, origin, whatever. This whole graphic section of all the actual like icons for all of the stats, they're fucked up. The 3D rendering is fucked up, okay? So this is as far as we're getting. Now to give you an idea, a year ago, Bloodborne was basically given a black screen, okay? So what changed since then? Well, the Shad PS4 emulator, the way that they've basically been describing is that they've released a new version, a new core version of their system. And of course, one that I had to actually go to their GitHub to even understand exactly what was going on. So on their GitHub here for Shad PS4, they actually say it's an early emulator, and they've shown some games like Sonic Mania. They've shown Undertale and We Are Doomed. So what they've said is small games are working, like Sonic Mania, Undertale, games that aren't exactly 3D, masterpieces like Bloodborne, games that are a little bit lighter and a lot easier to get running underneath an emulator. So when asking about how this entire process worked, when discussing how this worked, they mentioned that this emulator needs a processor with 4 cores and 6 threads, 2.5 gigahertz minimum, a graphics card with 1 gigabyte of VRAM, your GPU drivers updated, Vulkan support, 8 gigs of RAM, and Windows 10 or more. So yeah, it's not exactly the most, required, like the most demanding emulator, but we decided, let's actually get this thing started up. So I downloaded Shad PS4, both the versions that ran Bloodborne and whatnot, and I decided to actually show you how the stuff runs on that computer right there. Because getting this underneath virtual machines was a bit of an issue, so let's actually get some PlayStation 4 games up and running in the year 2024 and just see how good things are now. All right, so I'm going to cut to a Windows system over here. No virtual machines, no nothing. I'm just running everything natively. It seems like a lot of the VM stuff that I've been using causes issues with this emulator. So I'm just going to get the Windows version. And the reason we're doing the Windows version is because I'm assuming that most of the people watching my content are on Windows. And I just want to show you what the experience looks like when you decide running this specific emulator, Shad PS4. So as soon as you fire it up, it'll give you this big error message, Microsoft Defender Smart Screen. Again, I always had these things running on their own air-gapped system, so I'm not really too worried about what's going to happen, but again, you should be careful. Do you want to allow public and private networks to access this application? Because I'm on a secured system anyways. Sure, go ahead. Why not? Again, please use this stuff at your own risk. Now, it tells you directory to install games. So this is going to be kind of like where you're in... I assume this is where it's going to create like a virtual PlayStation 4 hard drive.
So again, just hit those ellipses. I guess we'll make a new folder. We'll just call it PS4 HDD, just for simplicity's sake. Hit save, hit OK, and it gives us this GUI. Now, interestingly enough, you go around to the options menu. It's not really loading anything. You go to the controller options. It's not really loading anything because, again, this is a very early build of an emulator at this point. So we're going to install a package file, which is how PlayStation 4 games are typically packaged. Now, this can be all the way from your small games to your larger...
We ain't got to watch all of this. If you're curious about Shad PS4, you see it. This is something I definitely will be checking out once they go ahead and drop and finish that Bloodborne port through emulation. I will be on that motherfucker as soon as I get the word. Best believe that, because I got to see what the hype's about, man. I tried playing it on PS5. It just ain't it today in 2024. It is not it, especially after I got spoiled with Elden Ring. Especially after I got spoiled with Demon Souls, the remake. It just, I can't. You got to treat yourself before you cheat yourself. And there's certain games that I can go back and play that are from that generation, or even like Xbox generation, 360, PS3. I'm doing a playthrough right now of LA Noire. And if you ain't played that game at all, I highly recommend you play that game. It is one of the best narrative-based games I have ever played in my life. Truly. Or if you haven't played it in a while, I highly recommend to go back and play it, because it's so much stuff because when I played it, I was a teenager when I played LA Noire last. And there was so much stuff that I did not remember going back and playing it now. So, I'm very much so thoroughly, and it's cheap right now. It's like less than $10. Especially with the summer sale. I think the summer sale is coming to an end pretty soon for Steam, but if you cop it on Steam, it's less than $10 right now. So I highly recommend going and playing that LA Noire. It still looks good. Obviously, it's from the previous generation, so it doesn't look as good as today's standard, but it looks very good. Very good. It's aging pretty well. So I'm doing a playthrough through that. But yeah, Bloodborne is just one of those games I can't go back and play. But that's the news for Bloodborne. They have made it to the character creation screen. And it looks like we're only at the beginning, if you know what I mean. But oh yeah, so now this is going to detour a little bit away from gaming. We got a couple topics a little bit off of gaming. Whenever I find anything interesting to talk about during the podcast associated with games, every other podcast or every now and again, if I feel like it's podcast worthy, I will go ahead and talk about it on the podcast just for entertainment's sake. Specifically for entertainment's sake. So I got two topics this week that are not gaming related. One is controversy and one is just breaking news. So we're going to save the breaking news for last, because that's going to be the way that we're going to end the podcast. But the first topic we are going to be talking about, so Destiny, he is from the gaming community. He is from the streamer. I think he started streaming on Twitch until he got his YouTube deal, and now he's a streamer on YouTube. And if you know anything about Destiny, he talks about politics. He talks about things of those nature, at controversies in the content creator sphere. And he recently on his podcast called out Boogie2988 for being a scammer and a liar. So if you know who Boogie2988 is, this will be something that interests you. He's just a goofy. He recently scammed his followers and subscribers out of $10,000 on a cryptocurrency scam. And I just want to tell y'all this. And this is one of the reasons why I'm playing this. If any of your favorite, I don't care who they are. I don't care how big they are or how small they are. If any of your favorite content creators is trying to get you to buy a cryptocurrency that they have helped create or they are promoting, immediately unfollow them and unsubscribe to them. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You do not want to be influenced by people who will lead you down places that will get you scammed out of money. or that will hurt you and your family. So let's check this out. This is Boogie 2988 on that bullshit.
Popular streamer by the name of Destiny.
Yeah, I know.
Where the fuck is our webcam at?
Listen, probably OBS is using it.
Oh my god. Hold
Hold
on. We're turning the camera on.
I have to delete it.
You guys literally ruined the intro. He gave you guys a big shout out.
Can you just shut the fuck
And then
up?
there's no
Shut
camera.
up. You're so
and it's just
negative.
your voice, and it's just fucking cringe.
Everything about...
There.
They got
Yeah.
extra
Do we have a
shooter as
camera?
well.
You know,
How you guys doing tonight? What's going on?
yeah, how's it going? We can see you. You guys look fantastic.
Turn it on.
I mean, some of you
Don't
at
be
least.
so friendly.
Look at it.
There we are.
Hey,
Oh
there
my
we go.
god, we're
There
on.
you go.
But not X.
Okay, we don't need him. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, you're not. You can say whatever you want. And it's gonna be like we said it.
All right. Are we good to go?
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Wings of
Boogie
Redemption.
2488.
Hey,
You are being
classic.
confronted tonight. I am 99% sure that you are faking.
No, don't move.
You are faking your cancer diagnosis, Boogie.
Okay, let's hear that.
That's some
Let's hear
sinister shit.
Did the doctor ever tell you, or did he ever say the word cancer?
He said polycythemia vera, which is a form of cancer, as he explained it to me. And no, it is not secondary polycythemia, which is Nicholas Diorio's explanation for this bullshit.
So I think it is secondary polycythemia. Can you
Well,
explain?
then why would he call it? Why would he call it polycythemia vera? Why would he tell me that I have hormone markers in my blood that tells me I have polycythemia vera? Why does he order a bone marrow biopsy to confirm it?
Well, if he ordered a bone marrow biopsy to confirm
misspoke.
it, it would be weird
quick,
that you
I'll
told
be
us
right
that you
back.
already had a diagnosis and a confirmation if it
Because
has been
the
confirmed.
markers are in my blood. The hormone markers are in my blood.
Correct,
Destiny.
but you said that you'd received a diagnosis, but now you just told me that you got a bone marrow biopsy to
It's
confirm.
a diagnosis, and now we're confirming.
Sure.
It's called a confirmation.
So-
The hormone markers are already in my blood.
Yep. So I think what happened
We
is,
are
Boogie,
confirming
based on
it with
everything...
biopsy
Yeah.
because I'm wanting to do that because I'm praying to God I don't fucking have cancer.
He doesn't
I'm
care.
praying to God I'm taking the 1 in a million fucking chance that they're fucking wrong and that there's another reason that I have the hormone fucking imbalances in my blood.
Yeah, why are you praying to God 2 years after you said that you have cancer that you don't have cancer?
Because 2 years ago, they told me I have polycythemia vera based on the fact that I had increased red blood cell counts, increased hemoglobin, and the hormone markers in my blood. And it all spelled pretty definitively that I have this. And so he wanted to get a bone marrow biopsy, but it is intrusive and expensive, so they decided to forego it. I would like to still get it done because I am hopeful, I am praying that there's a fucking merciful God of the world that would be willing to fucking let this be wrong, even though it most certainly is not.
So why are you talking about expensive cancer treatments if they don't even know if you have cancer? That
Facts.
nothing has been confirmed
Because
yet.
they're
It's been 2
treating
years.
it, dipshit.
They're not-
Because
how are
they've
they
been
treat-
treating it for 2 fucking years.
How are they treating it, Boogie?
Blood test, blood.
So just a quick backstory. Boogie 2998 or 2988, whatever it is, he recently scammed his audience out of $10,000. And the reason why he explained why he did it was because he needed to pay for his cancer treatments. But Destiny realized that this whole cancer story that he's trying to use to justify the reason why he scammed his audience is not adding up. And he's basically saying, you said 2 years ago you had cancer, and now all of a sudden y'all are doing another test 2 years later to see if you really have cancer. That doesn't make any sense. So let's continue.
Thinners, bloodletting, medications.
Bloodletting.
They're trying to get my weight
Correct.
down. I'm
Yes.
seeing the doctor every 3 fucking months. I'm doing blood tests every fucking month. We're doing it.
Yep.
So they don't know
What
if
do you
you have
wanna know?
cancer.
For one, when you are having any type of blood test done, you don't need a blood test every month. That doesn't make sense. I've had blood tests done even recently, like over the last 6 months, and I did one blood test. And that blood test, with the blood that they take from me, can be tested for multiple things. You don't need to do a blood draw for every little thing they need to test for. So that's already a odd explanation.
No, so can I
You want to hold
understand
my
this?
fucking hand?
Well, sure. So I mean, I can explain. So I can explain everything, right? So Boogie has a condition called polycythemia, which means there's an elevation in his.
Polycythemia vera.
No.
Polycythemia vera.
You fat fuck. I want to hear the guy that actually knows something.
Polycythemia vera.
Destiny,
He
go
knows
ahead.
more about my fucking medical diagnosis
yes,
than I do.
guarantee. Well,
Go right the fuck ahead. I was in the fucking room. My girlfriend was in the fucking room. And they told me, so go
You
right
are
the fuck ahead,
filibustering.
Destiny. Go right the fuck ahead.
Yo, be nice, be nice,
Okay,
Boogie.
yeah, I will go ahead. Okay, so I think that Boogie was told that he has polycythemia, which means he has an elevation of his red blood cells. Now, there is a cancer known as polycythemia vera, which is caused by a mutation in some part of your body that causes an elevation of 3 different levels of things that you'll find. One of those is the red blood cell count. However, when Boogie was talking about the polycythemia, he mentioned a couple things that I thought were interesting. The first was that taking an exogenous hormone, TRT, testosterone, that caused a increase in him developing this condition. So taking testosterone will not cause you to develop a cancer. That doesn't, not for this particular cancer, it won't. It will cause you to develop secondary polycythemia. The second thing that he mentioned was that his doctor ordered a sleep study. That's because one of the things that can cause your body to produce more red blood cells is if you have hypoxemia, which is a lower count of, or a low amount of oxygen in your blood for an extended period of time. And the reason why he ordered that sleep study is probably because Boogie either has pulmonary obstructive something, or he has, as he mentioned, sleep apnea.
Now, sleep apnea is something that runs rampant in people that's overweight, and the reason why is because when they sleep on their back, that weight fucking weighs them down, and fucking their nostrils close up and shit. And if you have sleep apnea untreated for years, it has to be something that has to be untreated for years. The way that your brain will react, it will create more red blood cells, because while you're sleeping, your body's not getting enough oxygen, and you're snoring really fucking loud, and the reason why you're snoring so loud is because your nostrils and your breathing path is closed up from all that weight. And so you see a lot of people that have sleep apnea, they'll wear those breathing machines at night to make sure that they get enough oxygen. And so I think Boogie has sleep apnea, and because the symptoms are so similar to that cancer, he's trying to use that one to keep himself in good graces with his audience, because he scammed the hell out they ass. And then 2, he's trying to sympathy farm, because if you've ever followed Boogie before, you know that he is a sympathy farming motherfucker. Whenever he start going broke a little bit, when his funds go down a little bit, he pulls some bullshit excuse out his ass to make people feel bad for him and to support him. And that's all he's trying to do. He's trying to keep scamming. This motherfucker has went from being the nice guy of YouTube to the motherfucking villain. How does the saying go? You live long enough to become the villain. He has become this is his villain arc right now.
And sleep apnea, which is a decrease in oxygen overnight, can lead to a decrease in oxygen in your blood, which can lead to an increase in the production of red blood cells. All of the things that Boogie described, both the things that cause this and the treatments for it, are consistent with secondary polycythemia. None of these are consistent with cancer. And the fact that he's saying that they've now ordered a biopsy 2 years after. Wait, 2 years after. Let me just finish real quick.
No doctor is going to let you go 2 years without receiving a treatment for your cancer. And then as soon as you get on treatment, what happens when you see most cancer patients? Have you ever seen a 400-pound cancer patient? No. Why? Because as soon as you start treatments, you lose weight rapidly. It's not an incremental thing. You start out 1 month at 400 pounds, the next month you at a 250. Straight up. Every cancer patient I've ever seen has been skin and bones. No muscle, no fat. Because that chemo real.
Let me finish real quick. Real quick.
He's not done. He's not done.
Yeah. 2 years ago, you said that you had a cancer diagnosis, but now you've just said now they're doing a biopsy to check for cancer.
Confirmation.
Is this House MD? Are we treating a blood cancer without actually confirming it yet? For 2 years, you've been having a cancer treatment without confirming there's actually cancer there?
Because it was in my blood markers, and that's pretty goddamn definitive. You can Google that, Destiny. When you have the hormones, when you have the hormone in the blood that is produced by this cancer, it's pretty goddamn definitive. It doesn't show up for just the shit sakes of it.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
Look, you want to keep saying you're the patient. You know what your body has.
Yes.
But when I go to the doctor, they give me shit like this.
Yeah.
Like
Because I was going to say, Boogie can end this whole thing.
Exactly
Show me a
their
single
diagnosis.
document with polycythemia vera on it. You don't have one. I don't think the doctor ever diagnosed you with it. And
Can I ask you something, Destiny? Is it possible that when the doctor was seeing him, they were asking you could have polycythemia, if I'm saying it correctly, or polycythemia vera, but you don't have the cancer version. You have this version.
Correct.
There is own
polycythemia.
I'm asking him. Is it? It could be like a loss of translation type situation.
Yeah. So polycythemia just means you have an elevation of red blood cells. That's all it means. Your red blood cell count is high. And
So
I think
you can just be fat and sleep apnea can create
sleep
that.
apnea could do it. Yeah, anything. Yeah, like that could cause it. And the fact that Boogie said we knew that when I was taking TRT, this was a risk of that. That means that risk is to develop secondary polycythemia. That was the risk, and then that is what ended up happening, unfortunately. But it's not cancer. That was induced because of just a low oxygenation of the blood.
So why? Explain to me, Destiny, why there are markers, hormone markers in my blood that have tested positively for polycythemia vera.
If there was, then he.
A clear sign someone is lying, and it's very clear, is when they only get stuck on one sorry ass reason. They use sorry reasoning, and then the one thing that they get stuck on, they can't ever move past it because they don't want you to delve deeper into their lie, and then they have to keep lying, and they don't have an excuse for the first lie, so they're not gonna let you ever move past that. He is just showing like clear textbook signs that this motherfucker is a liar, a scammer. He a sinister if you lying that you got cancer and you one of the biggest influencers and you've been on the platform forever and people know you, and you willing to lie like that knowing that people are going to get on your ass. They know this. People are going to get on your line because of who you are. You a sinister motherfucker. And that's not even including the scamming shit.
You wouldn't
look at one of your medical papers, dude.
Yeah,
I'm never showing any of these motherfuckers my medical papers. Go fuck yourself. I said that 2 years ago, and I'm staying by it now. Destiny, Jackson Clark, Keemstar, you can see it when I fucking die. It's my fucking goddamn medical record. I've given you every goddamn phone call. I've given you every fucking text.
Why is he not willing to show the medical records, but you're speaking about it? Makes no sense. Didn't he just drop a documentary, was it last year or earlier this year, on how he went broke? Like, bruh, that's cap. You're talking now. I can understand if they pried into your life and they extracted this information and they're calling you out on it and you never brought it to the public. I can understand that, right? But you've been all on social media talking about how you got cancer, but when people want evidence, it's an issue. Now it's a line that you don't want to cross. Oh, it's my medical records. You can't see that. Well, what you even speak on it for in the first place? It's signs of a liar.
I've given it. It's never made a single goddamn thing better. I'm not gonna fucking do it. Go fuck yourselves.
You could easily end this right now by just showing.
I would rather you motherfuckers continue to LARP. I would rather you motherfuckers continue to LARP.
Okay, well, no, here's an easy question.
Goddamn thing. The last goddamn thing.
You're the one
last
who's
piece
the
of
LARPing.
fucking security I have in the fucking world.
So the easy thing here is if there are blood markers that definitively confirm polycythemia vera as a blood cancer, then why are they doing a biopsy?
Because I'm insisting on it. Because
Drop
I'm hoping
the microphone.
No, wait. Why would you have to insist on a
Right.
biopsy
You
if
wouldn't
you can
have to
confirm with
would've
blood markers?
recommended it.
It's because you can't.
Because I'm hoping that I are wrong.
If you're hoping they're wrong, then why 2 years ago were you talking about fighting cancer? Why would you be talking about
I have been for 2 years.
fighting
Destiny.
cancer? How?
I've
With
been-
what? With
listen,
blood thinners?
Oh, this
Right.
one's for you, Boogie.
Because oh goddamn it.
Fighting cancer. He don't look like my man. Look like he ain't missed a meal in 2 years. Let alone fighting cancer, bruh. You doing documentaries. You doing podcasts. People that's fighting cancer don't have the energy to do that. they don't have a lot of times people that work 9 to 5s can't even go to work when they fighting cancer because it's such a painful, it's such a taxing, physically taxing experience. This man ain't missed a meal or lost a shred of weight. Come on now.
You treat polycythemia vera almost identically to the way that you treat polycythemia, because you can't attack the cancer directly. All you can do is treat the symptoms, and the symptoms are identical to polycythemia because it's the same fucking thing, with the exception of one's getting caused by an external source and the other's being caused by fucking cancer. And in this case, it's getting caused by fucking cancer, Destiny.
So I do think there are different treatments available for polycythemia vera, and I think that the outcomes for that are significantly worse than just having it induced by some other thing like sleep apnea or hypoxia. But I mean, if you wanted to,
the treatment plan is pretty identical.
Yeah,
the treatment plan is pretty identical.
So if there are two huge things. So one, you could show it to a private party and they could confirm, somebody like Keemstar. But two, the issue is that if you want to keep your medical issues to yourself, I think everybody is entitled to that right, obviously. But if you're going to come out,
I should have never talked about it to begin with.
Well, hold on. Hold on. Stop. Hold on.
One of the reasons I was going to do a GoFundMe was because they verify, for the record. They verify.
They verify?
So
that would be the third party that I would.
Yeah, so GoFundMe does not do the best verification, as has been proven multiple times in the past. But the issue is that you say that you shouldn't have talked about it. But the fact is that you did. You did the day that you got the diagnosis. You were like, well, I was considering doing this, but I just got my diagnosis today. So you weren't considering. You did it instantly.
I sat on it for a while.
Wait, on your tweet, did you not say that I got my diagnosis today and then talk about it?
They told me. Okay.
See how he keep lying? He getting caught up in his own lie. He needs time to lie. When someone stutters like that, where they stop mid-thought, mid-sentence, and they pivot, that's a lie, because he knew whatever thought he had conjured up was not going to do it. That pressure was real. Destiny got that pressure on his ass. Not only that, he can't lie about the tweet because the tweet is out there. You can't lie about something that can be proven. You know, and so he looking very stupid right now. Destiny, one thing I'll say about Destiny, I'm not really a huge fan of him, but when he apply that pressure, he get to talking real fast like that. Yeah, you know he on something for real.
They told me in the office that they were worried about it. Then they did the blood tests. Then yes, I did tweet about it on the day that I got confirmation, but I sat on it for a couple of months before, or for a couple of weeks before talking about it, because it took a while for us to get the blood results.
So you sat on it when you didn't know the answer? That's not called sitting on it. That's just called waiting for an answer. Also, if you were so keen on diagnosing whether you had cancer or not, why would you wait 2 years to get the biopsy?
I don't know if you've ever followed my Twitter before, but I tend to tweet shit as it happens. This one I started
real-time news, motherfucker.
I don't understand why you're waiting. I don't understand why you wait 2 years.
Solid cancer diagnosis.
Cancer's pretty fucking serious.
There is no cancer.
Cancer's pretty fucking
serious. It's secondary polycythemia. There is no cancer here. There's no proof of it. You can't show anybody proof of it because it's not real. And yeah, I don't know. As somebody that, like, his mom had cancer, it's just a little bit gross, I feel like, when people are talking publicly about fighting cancer and stuff.
Who is the person that faked cancer before, the chick? You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's just say the lesson that we're going to take from this exposure, Boogie has been exposed again. Boogie, man, I ain't going to lie. 2 years, 3 years from now, if he's still around and he's still pulling views, I'm going to be very surprised. But the type of people that's out here today, these suckers, these goofies, I wouldn't be surprised if he still holds an audience after he done scammed them, after he done lied to them about some of the worst things. This man is on stream. The whole world is trying to say, bro, you don't have cancer. I have never seen someone want cancer so bad. This man really wants cancer. He's been speaking it on himself constantly. Nobody should want cancer. That shows you how sinister and dark this motherfucker. That's a dark motherfucker. And if you following anybody who'll do that to you, unsubscribe. Do yourself a favor. Do not let these people into your realm of thinking on a consistent basis. Keep your guard up at all times, because this motherfucker's out here trying to get you. But we're going to move on from this sucker, because that's what he is. He a sucker. And we're going to move on to the breaking news. It's going to be the last topic of tonight, of this week. So some breaking news happened right before I started the podcast. And Donald Trump did a rally, and he got shot during the rally. My man got shot. So let's go ahead and I gotta figure out where it's at. Okay, let's go ahead and see what happened because this is insane. My man got shot. They really don't like Donald Trump.
This is the former president being brought back to his feet after those shots were fired. Were you on the stands?
And to my previous conversation with you, it may have been one of them that got to the shooter, or these two quote unquote bystanders.
That's crazy.
But that's the real key. Now, obviously, people reacted quickly. I'll say one other thing without knowing anymore. With that, the shooter may have been some distance away. Which is certainly fortunate for the former president. If he'd have been any closer, this would be a bigger tragic event, of course. But the whole key right now is this shooter and what's he all about.
Absolutely. Brad Garrett for us. We appreciate it. I do want to go to Leonard Verdetto, who is an eyewitness who was there at the rally today. He's joining us now on the phone. Leonard, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, Leonard. We're so grateful that you are okay. Can you just
look how close that bullet was to killing this man? That shit was inches away from killing him. It grazed his ear. That's the only thing that looks like it's been hit is his ear, the top of his ear. Grazed the man's ear. And they said the dude was a distance away, so he obviously is a decent shot. Maybe it looks like that flag up on the top of the screen is blowing a little bit, so maybe he didn't take into account windage. But my man, he could shoot because he grazed his ear. He hit his target. He just didn't kill him. He hit the target. Trump was the target, man. That shit is crazy. We ain't seen nothing like this since JFK, man. RIP JFK.
walk us through what happened and what you saw?
Sure, absolutely. So everybody was excited to see the former president coming out. You know, we were all, excited, and we were all happy. We were all joyful. We were all there for each other. And then the former president was giving his speech. Then moments later, there was some, popping sounds that were going off. There were about maybe 6 or 7 to 8 shots that were happening. None of us really registered at the time, but then all people were saying, get down, get down. Even I was saying, get down. Other people were saying, get down as well. And, we were all praying. We were praying to Yeshua, the Lord Jesus, and we were praying to him to keep us safe, keep us protected. But unfortunately, what happened was, someone did get shot. What I do hear is that I think 2 people did get shot, that to the best of my knowledge. And I believe that, the former president, which I'm glad he is safe. So.
Now, Leonard, and again, we don't have all these things confirmed yet, so this is your perspective here. But when you say that you believe that 2 people were shot, could you actually
quickly? I'll say one other thing without knowing anymore what that
happened and what you saw.
Sure, absolutely. So everybody was excited to see the former president coming out. We were all, excited, and we were all happy. We were all joyful. We were all there for each other. And then the former president was giving his speech. Then moments later, there was some, popping sounds that were going off. There were about maybe 6 or 7 to 8 shots that were happening. None of us really registered at the time, but then all people were saying, get down, get down. Even I was saying, get down. Other people were saying, get down as well. And, we were all praying. We were praying to Yeshua, the Lord Jesus, and we were praying to him to keep us safe, keep us protected. But unfortunately, what happened was, someone did get shot. What I do hear is that I think 2 people did get shot, that to the best of my knowledge. And I believe that, the former president, which I'm glad he is safe. So.
Now, Leonard, and again, we don't have all these things confirmed yet, so this is your perspective here. But when you say that you believe that 2 people were shot, could you actually see people, potential victims?
What I seen, and to the best of my knowledge, sir, is that and again, I was hearing it from other news sources as well. But what I seen, when I first seen, there was blood on a couple of people. Someone was shot just like about 5 feet right behind us, to be honest with you. So we were that close, and thank God we weren't shot either.
And where were you located? We're looking at the video right now. This is the former president being brought back to his feet after those shots were fired. Were you on the stands behind Donald Trump, or were you in front of him?
If you're looking,
imagine that job. The president just got shot. Your job is to get in front of the bullet. That's patriotism at an all-time high. It's bullets flying at a target. Your job is to get in front of the bullet and in front of the target. Stand between the target and the bullet. That's dedication. That's real patriotism. My black ass ain't doing it. I ain't gonna lie. It's everybody for themselves. Well, you applied for the job and you took the job. Well, I didn't. Hey, I just came for the check. That's it. I'm sorry. I apologize. I couldn't fulfill the duties of the job. I will go ahead and resign and let someone take my place who's willing to throw their life away for this guy who doesn't care about you. But I'm not him. You know, and that's actually crazy. It's a real assassin. And he hit Trump, too. Let's continue to see what happened.
Exactly, Adam. We'd be on the left side, actually. We were the left side of the other stands where you've seen those big TVs.
Look how he rallying them people together.
So the left side of the stands facing the president or behind the...
It's bullets flying not even a minute ago, and people are cheering and clapping. And that's another thing. Whoever tried to kill him, he didn't realize that you just put more fire behind this man. You didn't kill him. So now... he has this is a historic moment right now. Trump, a former president, has an assassination attempt on his life. And they grazed him in the ear. We used to visit the spot JFK got killed at when I was going to school in Dallas, Texas, in elementary school. We went and visited the location he got shot at as a field trip. People are going to go visit this spot where they're going to memorialize that spot where Trump had an assassination of former United States President of America, was doing a rally for a second term. Don't let him win, too. Ooh, this is some historical shit.
The former president.
Facing the president. We were more on the sides, looking on the side of the president, so facing him.
And Leonard, let me just ask you too. Obviously, you go to we've been talking about this, the division in this country, the polarization. But here you are. Obviously, you're exercising your right to, support whichever politician you believe in. And you go to an event like this, you don't expect there to be violence. What's in your heart right now?
Well, what's in the heart right now is I'm encouraging the American people to pray to Lord Jesus, because right now our country's divided. I'm a millennial generation. I'm 30 years old, and this is my first time being at a Trump rally. And the reason why I'm supporting the former president is because of the policies that he has to keep the country safe and secure borders and everything like that. So that's why I stand for what he stands for. And I encourage the American people to pray to the Lord Jesus that we need to be united as a people. We need to repent, and we need to be healed as a nation, because right now our nation is not going down a good road. So I encourage people to pray, because prayer is a powerful thing.
Well, Leonard Verdetto, we are so thankful that you are okay and that you were able to make it out of there safe. Thank you again for your time. We truly appreciate it. I do want to bring in another witness who was there at this rally today, Robert Rosano. Robert, can you hear me?
I wonder if they caught
the guy.
Yes, sir, I can.
Walk me through what you saw, what you heard, and how close were you to the former president as these reported shots rang out?
We were, myself and a good buddy of mine, we were 4 rows back from the center of the former president. Former president was facing directly at us, and it was a good crowd. Everyone was pretty electric. It had been a long day. The heat was kicking in a little bit, but people were happy. People were happy to see the former president speak, and he came out to God Bless America, and the crowd was electric. And it was probably a good 10, 15 minutes into the speech that we started to hear what sounded like gunshots ring out. And we probably heard a good 3 or 4 gunshots that sounded like they were of a smaller caliber, followed by 2 to 3 more much powerful shots, which most folks assumed that it had been from the Secret Service. Now,
I know as soon as the gunshots rang out, most of us had hit the ground. It was a scary situation. You're in a fishbowl, with the former president, and you don't know, where the shots are coming from and who they're coming from, and it was a pretty traumatic situation, I think, for everybody. But what we did see following the shots was we saw the president hit the ground. We looked up to the top left-hand side of the stands that were right behind him, and it looked like there were several folks that were still down. It looked like there was some blood that had been there. We also saw some law enforcement folks that had carried out what looked like the body of an individual. Following that, President Trump, he stood back.
Robert, are you still with me? I think we just lost Robert Rosano's connection there, but the account that he gave, pretty terrifying, considering that after the former president was then removed from the stage, it looked like there were people still down in the stands. And we've heard those reports from several witnesses now that there was blood in the stands, that several people had to be carried out. And again, the reports from the district attorney there in Pennsylvania telling us that at least one bystander was killed in this incident, perhaps a second, and that the shooter,
whoever did this, they about to, if they don't get put to death, whenever they get pursued, they're going to get the death penalty. I think they're going to get the death penalty because people don't realize the federal charges, you can be certain charges, you could be punished to death, right? It might take 20 years to kill you, but you can get a death sentence on a federal level. And I don't know when the last time someone caught a death sentence from a federal conviction. I think it's been a while, to be honest. But they're going to be the first one in a long time. If it's been a while, they got one coming. If they make it, they might mess around and get killed on the way there. Not only that, it's a lot of people who support Trump in prison on the federal level, so they gonna have a target on their back. People love Trump. Trump was letting people out of prison, getting laws changed. There's a lot of people that like Trump in prison. So yeah, man, this is a historical moment. Prayers go up to Trump, man. I'm not really a super political guy. I don't really lean either way, right? I'm more neutral. But regardless if you agree or disagree with the man, if you disagree with him, that don't mean he deserves to die, right? Just because you disagree with somebody does not mean that they deserve to die, right? And it's a blessing that the worst is coming out of this for him, at least for Trump, is a scratch on the ear. But for some other folks in the crowd, seems like they might have been killed. At least one is confirmed dead. It's a very unfortunate, and like dude was saying earlier in the video, the country's divided right now. It's a lot. It's a very hostile climate. That's why I don't talk politics with people, because it's very hostile. People who believe in what they believe in, they believe it to the point where if you disagree with them, they're willing to kill you over the disagreement, right? And it's a lot of people out there that feel that type of way, right? And so with moving forward, I just hope this country could come together, realize we got more in common than we do differences, regardless of your skin color, regardless of your political stance, regardless of anything, right? And people also fail to realize the more that they divide us, the easier it is to conquer us, because we can never come together. It's more regular people out here than it is elites. But the more that they keep us divided in groups and hating on each other and looking at each other and laughing at each other or screaming at each other, the more that they can move the puzzle pieces and the chess pieces around the board and nobody ever sees it coming. And then when you look up, it's too late because they already done got it passed, right? And so even though it's unfortunate, and it's truly unfortunate what happened today at Trump's rally, at the end of the day, it's falling right in line with what they want. They want us to be doing shit like that. They want us fucked up out here. They want us mad at each other. You mad at a person that they ain't never did nothing to you. Only thing that they got against you is they disagree with your points. Outside of that, they ain't took no food off your plate. They ain't hurt your family members. They ain't hurt you, right? And even though we live in a country where it's a lot going on as far as injustices on a systematic level, you still can do what you want to do as a person in America. If you want to be a doctor, you can be a doctor. It don't matter where you come from. You could come from the hood or you could come from Calabasas. You could be a doctor. You feel me? If you want to be a ball player, you could do that. If you want to be gay, you could do that. And nobody's going to hurt you or kill you behind that, especially not on a governmental level, right? So regardless of the political climate or what you agree with or don't agree with, you could still be who you want to be in this country, and you can't say that for most countries across the world. You can't be who you want to be in most countries. You can't get the opportunity you got here across the world. Yeah, prices are going up, but it's also a lot of money being made over here too. You just got to tap in. You got to tap in and line yourself up with the bag. Where you see the bag is at. If you're not doing things to get a bag, then you're not going to ever have a bag. But that's your choice. It's not because someone stopped you at the door. It's plenty of people that's out here living good. You know, it's a lot of people out here living rough too. You know, so with that being said, you know what I mean? My prayers go up to the people that's affected to this. I hope the people that came out unharmed, even though they're physically unharmed, they're going to be mentally dealing with some things. So I hope they can work through that. You feel me? And it's going to be interesting to see, you know, the progression of the country. For those who are aware, you know what I mean? Make sure you keep yourself protected out here in these streets, because anything's liable to go down at any point. Stay on point. Keep your head on a swivel, because you never know when it's going to go down, right? And don't let a motherfucker get the upper hand on you, right? But that's going to be the end of this podcast for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Real quick again, if you do not have access to the PS5 version of the Concord beta, go ahead and hit me up in the DMs on Twitter or hit me on Discord. Links are in the description. And if I still have it available, I'm going to check right after I end the stream. If I still have it available, whoever hits me up first gets the code. You feel me? And I'm going to catch y'all next week. Make sure you subscribe. Next Saturday, I will be live starting at between 7 and 8 p.m. every Saturday. So stay tuned. It's your boy RJ. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Deuces, you too.